belongs in my hand, belongs in your hand, belongs with me. Show me love as we get older, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of it on me. Show me love as we grow colder, let our love provide the heat. After 30 years of service and months of it on me. Show me love as we grow colder, let our love provide the heat. That our older bones are missing, but our hearts will never leave.
I'm falling top to toe, falling in love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling top to toe, falling in love, but my heart's not there. I live alone on my own, won't you save me? I've got hope, but I need more than that. You can help me, bring me down to earth. And I feel it in my heart, feel it in my soul. We've both got problems, don't you know? Now get them off your chest, put your mind to rest. And she said, I'm falling top to toe, falling in love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling top to toe, falling in love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling top to toe, falling in love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling top to toe, falling in love, but my heart's not there. I walk alone on my own, won't you leave me? There's a road, but I need more than that. If you help me, no one will get hurt. And I feel it in my heart, feel it in my soul. You and I have problems, don't you know? Now get them off your chest, lay your mind to rest, your mind to rest. From my top to my toe, right from the word go, I was falling, I was falling. Before you even know, the cracks start to show. I was falling, I was falling.
out of it, but we'll see. And so we are ready to go. We are live. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well today. Welcome to the Lions League. And we have got a great lineup for you today. I'm joined by Josh. Today, Josh, you want to introduce yourself again? I'm guessing people have already gotten used to you by now, though. This is a great thing.
Yeah, I've been here a few weeks now, but you can't get rid of me just yet. We've got plenty of Counter-Strike to be played, some more Lions League action. Today we're seeing the surprise roster coming out again, something that I thought we were only going to see like once, but they're back, and they're really strong as well. I think they're possibly stronger than last time, so yeah, they're going to be facing up against the Royal Signals, who we've seen a few times as well. I think the Signals, from what I've seen, have been up there as my kind of best team in the Lions League so far. I think they've pulled out some really good performances in the recent weeks. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys do against what is essentially a roster put together of the strongest players. Obviously, they won't be as prepared because they won't have been able to practice together as a team, but I mean, there's some fraggers down there, so we'll have to see. I think you might know more about some of the players on that surprise roster than I do.
Absolutely. We do have the likes of A180. We've seen him popping off for his team. And also, of course, the fan favorite that's not actually part of the league yet, Elusive. He's been a great stand-in for a lot of the teams that we've seen. And, of course, in the scrim games that we saw earlier on in the Lions League as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who is going to show up today. I'm going to presume the Signals have had a lot of practice. We've seen a lot of them during the Lions League so far. Obviously, them going up against the Engineers, a lot more of a rivalry now than anything else. So, in fact, we do have some highlights from the previous game that we had with them. So you'll be seeing those just below us, and we're going to run through that and explain exactly what we saw. So, of course, some great frags coming out from all of the AWPers on both teams. It was definitely a heavy AWP game for, I mean, all three rounds, all three maps. They were very, very exciting to watch. And this was the nutty Dan W 4K that we like to go back to here and there. I believe, Josh, that you rated this your craziest play of the Lions League so far as well.
Yeah, it was. It was my craziest play in the sense of shouldn't have been able to happen. It was he's done really, really well to capitalize on the situation to be able to get 4 kills there, but like the T side there, they should have just been able to shut him down. He should not have got away with it, and yeah, it was an absolutely crazy play. The one we just saw there, pretty much just an eco spray down, but an ace nonetheless. I remember this one. This was an exciting one here with BM. Completely denies this plant and then swings out, shouldn't be able to get a second there, and finds the third as well. Big rounds that we've seen in the previous weeks. I think that was actually a pretty exciting game, that Signals Artillery Inferno game. I believe that was the one where we saw the 1-versus-1 where I can't remember who it was, but the player threw the grenade that blew himself up. It was quite an eventful game. A fun one to cast.
That was quite the unfortunate frag on himself there. We've seen a few of those in the Lions League so far. In fact, there was a cast I couldn't make, unfortunately, due to tech issues, that you had the pleasure of casting. Apparently, there was a very scuffed play coming out from that one as well. I don't know whether you can remember that one.
Ooh.
I heard some
honestly,
rumors about a flashbang that went awry, a grenade that went awry, and he ended up coming out of the flashbang dead. It was I don't quite remember who it was, but it was very entertaining to watch. Very entertaining to watch. So either way, we're going to see exactly who is going to be joining up onto the server in a hot second. We're going to be getting ourselves prepared. But obviously, we like to make our predictions just before they get onto the first map. And we're going to be seeing, obviously, the mixed match from the surprise team and, of course, a fully fledged team in the form of the Signal. So, Josh, I'm going to let you do your prediction first because I made my prediction first last time and I was completely wrong.
Okay. I don't know this week, I really, really don't know. I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll probably go to a third map. I can't imagine this one being a whitewash. I'm going to stick with my Signals. I've gone with them in the previous weeks, and Oof, trying to think the weeks that I went with them, did they win? I think there was one time where I backed them and they lost, but I can't remember who they lost to.
That was the
But yeah, I'll
engineers. That
stick.
was
Yes, you're
as
right.
well.
You're right. It's the engineers. Engineers. I'm gonna stick with my signals. They were the first team that I casted coming into the Lions League. The first team I saw. They showed a really strong performance against the artillery, and from then I've just kind of backed them every week. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with those boys. But I mean, this really could be anyone's game. We've on the surprise side, we have seen some really strong individual plays from some of those players on that roster. It does just come down to what you look from the map pick right now. The signals have gone for Dust 2, right? Which is a map we haven't really seen very much in the Lions League. But it's by the fact that they've chosen it means that they've probably been practicing on it. And it's one of those maps that, okay, Dust 2 used to be a really standard one, but now since they've changed it, even though they haven't changed the map too much, they've just changed the aesthetic of it, there's still some new angles and new things you need to learn. And I think that by the fact that Signals have picked it means that they have been practicing. So I think that Surprise might be caught out by that one. And then they've come for an overpass pick, which is a bizarre one as a kind of pickup team that will, I can only presume, be pugging these games. Overpass is a bizarre one. So I think in terms of how the map picks have gone, I think the Signals have got a slight advantage, but I honestly don't really know. We have to see. Like, we don't really have too much data on these teams in terms of how good they are on these maps. All we can really go off of is if they've picked it, they probably know it. So we'll see.
It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Obviously, you have gone with the Signals, so of course I have to go with the surprise team. I do like the Signals. I have rated them in the past. Obviously, me being picking engineers in the past against them, definitely not going my way in some senses. Other ways definitely did go my way, but the reason I'm going to be picking surprise today is because they have such a all-star lineup from some of the other teams we've seen mashed together. And we'll just have to see how well they do. Obviously, sometimes when you put a team of all-stars together, it goes swimmingly. It goes great. You know, you get some very amazing matches coming out from them. In the other side, the flip side is they clash, they don't get along, and they just seem to crumble very quickly against a well-oiled machine of a team like the Signals. But again, we can only find out. We'll go into Dust 2, and we'll see how well both these teams do. I'm going to call surprise. I'm going to take Dust 2 16-12. This is my first opinion on this map.
Oof. Right. I'm going to pull out a funky one because we always say it's going to be super close. I think every time we give these score predictions, we always say like, 16-12, 16-13. We always call these super close games. But actually, in reality, a lot of the time, games will end up being quite dominant and then it will go into the next map and then it will be dominant, vice versa. I think the Signals will take first map 16-9. Okay. And then I think going into Overpass, I think it will be a lot closer, but I think Signals will still take it. I think it will be a 16-14 Overpass.
16-14 on Overpass. Wow. I do agree with you. We've seen a lot of maps going in the way of a smash. The previous couple of games, especially, but it's those really tight knit games we've been seeing coming out from these teams as well. I tend to remember more, obviously, more action, more hype, more adrenaline, and more excitement for the chat to watch as well. So, guys, if you have your own predictions, like myself, then by all means put them in the chat, because my prediction for Overpass is going to be Team Surprise taking it 16-14. I'm going to take your prediction. I'm going to turn it upside down.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So we both agree that Overpass is going to be a close one. Because, I mean, my justification for Overpass being a close one is Surprise have picked it, so they're probably comfortable on it. But it's quite a team-heavy map. There's a lot of, on the T side, there's a lot of smokes and flashes and things you need to know to be able to take control of these bomb sites. And on the CT side, there's actually a lot more to it than meets the eye. There's a lot of positions where you have to be coordinated with your teammate. You can't be playing toilets alone. You can't be playing, if you do opt to try and contest long control over towards A, you can't be playing it alone. The dynamic of B, you have to kind of, if you've got two players there, you need to be complementing each other with a crossfire. If you've got three players there, you want some kind of triangle formation with a player over somewhere towards Graffiti or Heaven on a quick rotate. There's so much to it, especially on the CT side, the more I think about it. that has to fall into play. And I think that stuff only falls into play when you really drill it as a team, when you really say, right, okay, we're practicing this map, we know where we're going to be, etc., etc. So I think Surprise will be comfortable on it as a map that maybe they all like, but in terms of actual coordination, it might not be there. And I think that even if the Signals aren't necessarily comfortable on Overpass, they will have that advantage. So I think it will be close, but I still think that the Signals will probably come out on top. But to be honest, it could be anyone. In fact, it's not could be. It is anyone's game. I think Overpass is definitely a good second map, and I think that there's a huge potential to go on to Nuke as a third.
Fantastic. If it were to go to a Nuke finale, what would your prediction be on that one?
Depends how the first two maps went, I suppose. But I'll stick, assuming that Surprise wins second map, I'll stick with the Signals to take the third. I think Nuke's a really fun third map, actually. I would have never said that before, but I casted a Nuke game as a third map a few days ago, and it was a really, really cool finale map, actually. Both teams doing some really cool counter strats. I saw something that it's not that I've never seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a long time, where taking outside control, typically, if you're trying to take outside control and you get down secret, you throw that wall of smokes that goes in line with the red container. Yeah, so you confine yourself to a small alleyway to get down secret. And typically the CTs will either spam through it or they'll take control of the rest of mid, so that then as soon as those smokes dissipate, they're then there to cut off anyone still pushing in late, or they're there on a quick rotation kind of thing. Whereas these guys threw these smokes, basically a wall that was in line with A main and in line that went to the mid garage. There was two smokes there that separated that part off, and then a smoke that went right over and landed in the garage door on the left hand side. Where you go in from CT to mid garage, and it cut off that area. So what that did is it isolated the player playing mid garage. So 5 guys took that fight on the one guy. He died. They took that man advantage early rather than ignoring him. And therefore they had the entirety of mid control. They could get down secret, they could leave a player in mid on the lurk, and it would slow down the rotation as well. Because the CT players couldn't get close to the smokes, they could push into secret quickly afterwards. They actually bought themselves a huge amount of time, a huge amount of map control, just with 3 simple smoke grenades. So there's some really cool stuff you can do on Nuke, but right now, Surprise, not too strategic as of yet. They're just charging straight into the B site on Dust 2. TDI opens it up with the one player on the site. You can't be playing solo B. It's too difficult to retake. Dan W having a good crack at it, though. Finds himself 1, and this is definitely doable for the Signals. Look at the HP on the Surprise side. Every single player is low, and they're all confined onto this bomb site. As the retake coming into play now, and Woody tapping away finds himself 1.
I love those post-plant positions coming in for Surprise here, but they're not doing them very well, as all of them have fallen. 3 CTs survived there. And yeah, that was a very quick rush onto B. No strat whatsoever. It's just get the bomb down, get into a corner, and hope for the best. And they do get the bomb down, but of course the Signals finding that round, the first round on the board for them. And Surprise now back on the pistols. CT grab themselves some SMGs, a couple of rifles, scout on the hand of Dan W. And we're off to a good start already for the Signals. Now, if we just go back quickly to those predictions, I will agree with you on that one. If it does go to the third map, I do believe that the Signals will probably win it out on Nuke, only because the Surprise guys are a mismatch. They are a club together group of players, and of course, it's going to be down to the strategies that have been called out. We've seen before from the Signals. Dan W, in fact, finding a great headshot onto Tyler. Caught lacking. Sammy creeping through on long and finds power. And already, the second round leaves the T's in a 3 versus 5.
Huge amount of damage done very early on there. Dan W doing a lot of work, but questionable on that T side for them to be re-peeking him. Not a fight that you're going to be winning with those SMGs. So they're grouping up in the B tunnels, looking like they are trying to work their way onto B, and it's Simez in this corner. I actually noticed as well, Simez, he was the solo B player on pistol round. He got into 4 assists. Let's see if he can finish him off this time. The flash comes in, it's good. He swings out with the MP7, finds himself one. Does he realise there's a guy on site, though? They've both just ignored each other, but he does come out on top despite getting dinked. Simez holds up that B site very, very well. I am wondering why the Signals are playing a solo B setup here, because it's something that you see in Counter-Strike, like sometimes on Dust 2, I suppose, if you have someone watching that mid B split. But the issue with it is that if the T side take the site and they smoke off door and they smoke off window, then that's it. It's so difficult. They might as well just go and save, and that's exactly what's happening. They charge him with the pistols. They haven't got the utility to smoke off. In fact, they do. They have a smoke. They've just not smoked it yet. They're still not smoking it. They're contesting the scout. It's not working out. Guys, you just need to smoke the door and get onto the site. You've lost 2 players when you didn't need to. And now this retake's becoming ever so possible for the CT side. Sammy S charges right in. He is going to fall, and Woody can't connect the shots either. It's going back in the favour of the T side. I'd say somewhat undeservingly, though, but as they're still confined onto the bomb site, it's definitely doable for Solrak. Surprise really just need to not face here. Actually, Pow making it possible for them. Pow, you shouldn't be out in the open there. J-Shot going to come out on top, though. As Solrak against the clock. Can't do anything to win that round. And, well, Surprise put their first round on the board. I think the actual first kill that they got, and the fact that they got control of the bomb site, purely comes down to exactly what I said. Signals are only playing 1 guy on the site, and it means that Surprise, even with the pistols, 5 guys can overwhelm 1 player on the site, yeah? And if there's no one there on the fast rotation, they throw the smoke, that's it. But this round changing things up, they're going right out long. They found themselves 2 kills early, and this is going to open up A, as they smoke the cross, and they seem to know there's someone on the other side of that box as well.
Thing they do, they're going to be running up this ramp position now. Facing the tide of T's right now. The bomb is going to go down. And again, the post-plant's coming in. Dan W. handling the scout again. He's been buying this a lot. I guess I'm going to presume he's very comfortable with it. He's the AWPer that we see usually running around for the Signals, if not in the hands of the likes of Solrak. But he's going to back up now. Jumping back onto that second round there, you're very right in the fact that that was a round for the Signals to really lose there. A surprise, we're making a lot of mistakes, but they just managed to win out those duels in the end by the looks of things. Very, very puggy, very, very dirty. We're watching a very, very big dogfight at the moment, I'm going to call, for this first map. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be filthy CSGO. But sometimes you like a bit of filthy CSGO.
I suppose so, but only when you're actually seeing these like crisp shots. You can see messy players as long as the aim comes into play, but at the moment, some of these rounds just seem like a bit of a mess. It shouldn't really be 2-2 right now, but nonetheless, Surprise have done well to capitalize on the Signals' mistakes. But look at this, Simez was so late on to be there. If Surprise had actually just rushed, they would have just had a free B bomb site. However, I suppose the Signals, they are on an eco here. They are somewhat going for a gamble stack over towards A. Surprise are playing this one well, though. They've left the bomb back tunnels. They're just spreading around on the default here. J-Shot with this boost will catch anyone off if they choose to push in. But now, his teammate really needs to fall off here. That's exactly what he's going to do. Power's going to fall off. Leave J-Shot with that B. Sorry, not B. Long tunnel control. Wow, this is a really, really slow round as we encroach a minute on the clock. Still no engagements. Dan W's in a position where if he pushes up, he might be able to catch a player with a smoke in his hand.
He's going to see him
for
just
now.
About. Oh, they creep.
No, he's not. Timing doesn't work out. He's got power, but he's going to get mowed down. AK versus PT50. He's never going to win that fight. And Surprise finds his headman advantage.
Sammy does find one, though, as Simers is now in an interesting position. One. Time is right. No, he doesn't. The spray doesn't go well for him. Woody's found J-Shop in the back, but it's going to be just him alone in a 1v3. And is he even going to go for it? Is it even worth risking the AK? Especially with Surprise, you know, grabbing those early rounds, clinging onto him and just fighting tooth and nail to get him. We're witnessing some very interesting mistakes from the Signals. Like you said early on, with Simers being super late to that B site, especially if he's playing it alone. If the T's get a read on that, on how Simers is playing his site and how slow he's playing it, they could just keep abusing that, pushing that site. They wouldn't even need to even think about it. They could just charge on like they've been doing and get an easy bomb plant. But we'll just have to see if they actually figure that out. And we'll have to see if Simons can step it up and get on site, especially if he's going to be taking that on alone.
Yeah, I mean, for that round, it didn't play too much into the outcome. Obviously, maybe could have found himself 1, even 2, had he had the trigger discipline to allow the first player to run across, kill the second, then kill the first guy as he was planting, but doesn't choose to do that, and it is going to cost him this round, though. Only the 1 AK, and it has been dropped over towards Simez, but these pistols on long are completely shutting down the push. Surprise! Weren't expecting to be, again, another eco there. And yeah, they've gone for a long push. Fallen right into a pistol stack. Solrak falling back to bottom pit. Is going to allow the T's to get the bomb. He's going to get Molotoved as well. This isn't good for him. They know he's there, but Simez is there to support, and Simez finds them both. A big time for him to come in and help his teammate Solrak there. Just the distraction player. He's going to allow Signals to take a round that they should not have been able to. Mad that they opted for the double eco there. Had they have just invested less into the round before, they could have definitely bought last round, but either way, works out fine for them in the end. They are now on a full buy. Dan W with that AWP and that utility usage over towards long. Well, the double Molotov.
He's running out with very, very, very toasty toes right now. That double Molotov stopping that long from happening again. Ooh. W, a very uncharacteristic whiff there onto
yeah, I think his crosshair was on him. I think he just walked as he shot. He prematurely sort of jiggled off of the angle as he shot, and led to the bullet skew whiffing a little bit, but either way, Woody taking the man advantage for the CT side as he finds one on short, does the right thing, falls right back. These players aren't playing together, though. In that scenario, if you're playing a deep short like that, you want to have a teammate with you so that when you take that first engagement, they can throw a flashbang for you to fall back. Whereas in that scenario, had he have been peeked by a second guy, he would have just fallen. Surprise had some huge trade potential there, but every player on this map seems to be playing individually, not supporting each other at all, just facing angles one by one. Dan W claimed himself one about 10 or so seconds ago. Gives them that 2-man advantage as there's now only 30 seconds on the clock. Bomb's been retrieved, but 3 versus 5, and it's looking like Surprise are going to try and go over towards that B site. But right now they need to find a pick. They can't just walk straight onto this site, otherwise Simez is going to shut them down. However, despite the fact they've got a 2-man advantage, he's still the only man on the B site, so this could actually work for them.
And it could if they charge out some of the time. They're blocking his line of sight. Doesn't know that 2 teams are on the side. They've already rotated in. Solrak with a very clean 2K to polish this one up for the Signals. And yeah, you're right. Simons left alone yet again to, stem that push. But it is nice to see the CTs are very quick on their rotates to stop those pushes. Though, again, we'll go back to what we said earlier. T's still yet to take advantage of that 1-man hold on B. Simers is not the best fragger, he's not the best in the Angels. He could be taken out pretty quickly if, you get the right man on the job, the right utility on the site, and the numbers game as well. Playing the numbers game. Goes into a 1 versus 4 there on short, falls quickly, takes J shot. As Sammy is holding down the A site with his battle buddy, the AWP. Great position there, doesn't need it as the pistol taps down Elusive and the Molotov burning Tyler down to a crisp. 5th round going the way of the Signals, 5-3.
Yeah, it's a big round from Dan W there, a good Molotov to end it off as well. Again though, that round we're seeing Woody going for a solo push on short with no support from teammates. It's worked out for him, he's got himself 2 kills, but if he continues to do that, Surprise have got some massive potential to just punish him for it, because you should be punished for doing that. Right now though, Surprise, they seem to be trying to abuse the fact that there's only 1 player on the B site. They've walked right in, there we go, the smoke's going to cut off Dan W. They deal with Simez, no problem at all. Dan W's now got to try and solo retake a site with more because he's He gets locked out. There's no chance for him to do anything here. The rotation's called, but they're pretty much locked out this site. Surprise are throwing so much utility right now to just slow down this retake. Buy them the time for the bomb to keep keeping. I mean, this is... Ooh, wow, that's a really nice shot through the wall, but this is pretty much a done deal for Surprise right now.
Just a really filthy no-scope through the door there, through the top as well. I was about to say Dan W's been struggling with the ult. Missing some very easy shots, I would say. Tyler, in fact, finding Dan W's head pretty easily with the Mac 10 as the bomb ticks down. They're going to have to run or they're going to lose some men here. I think one of them's going to fall. No, they do just about get away. And the AWP and an M4 going back into the CT lineup for this 10th round. They are starting to take advantage of this one-man hold now, though. They finally worked it out. The Simons is the sole man anchoring it, and Dan W is still holding mid with the AWP.
Indeed, they are. I want to see some save calls coming in earlier from the CT side, though. As soon as they lost the side there for the 5-4, there was no chance for the retake, and they ended up throwing away 2 guns. On the flip side, though, Sammy finds himself 2 on long. It's a big solo long hold. Really should be calling a support here from Woody. Woody playing it really far back. Actually, they've got somewhat of a crossfire as long as Sammy stays on the left-hand... Oh, sorry, the right-hand side. Surprise, they've got a 2-man disadvantage now. They need to try and find this player on the site. And he's going to do a little bit of damage, but tapping away. 180 still can't seem to connect the shots. Molotov finally going to take him out, but Dan W... there with the nade, and he is cleaning up this T-side. J-Shot, the last man alive. Surely nothing you can do here. There's players coming from all angles. He's heard Sammy through the smoke, but can't even connect the shots. And Sammy actually takes his 3rd of the round. That's a big round for the Signals. And, well, I don't know. I don't know what to say about these teams right now. I was about to say that the Signals are starting to look comfortable, but it's not. It's backwards and forwards. There's mistakes on both sides. There's some good plays from both sides. But I wouldn't say that either team is really on top right now. It seems that Signals have just kind of managed to pull away for a couple of rounds because Surprise are down to such a limited economy. They should be able to win this next round as well, as they just faced up against these Deagles. But going into the next buy round, I think that's going to be the decider. If Signals can win it, they might be able to pull away, take a 4-5 round lead, and should be able to win the half. But if Surprise take it, then it's anyone's game. It could go either way.
Exactly. You didn't notice at the end of that round there. Unfortunate for Dan W. He does actually burn down to the Molotov that J-Shot was throwing. So they did lose a bit of economy in the form of a big green gun. And that might affect their economy even more because they obviously have a very precarious one at the moment on a couple of their players. A few of them will get the rebuys, and Dan W and Sammy looking comfortable. But likes of Woody, $100 left. Solrak, 1,700. And the T's, I mean, their economy's kind of in the pan at the moment, but it is somewhat even, so that we'll be able to keep their buys consistent as we watch now as the T's are going to be holding just outside of this mid door. Dan W can almost smell them as the utilities are about to come in by the looks of things. One, the double peak working in the favor. They know Dan W's holding that position. Very smart there from Team Surprise to, nullify that wall. They do lose one at least. They only lose one. But Dan W, he doesn't care about logic. He takes 2 for it. If not 1 with a flashbang assist from his teammate Solrak. Solrak cleans it up at the end on J-Shot. And that's the 7th round going in the way of the Signals.
I can't believe Dan W stayed alive for as long as he did there. If they get that kill, maybe they can work something over towards the site, but continuing to fight that long-range angle. Unable to find anything. Dan W still wreaking havoc on mid. Connecting the shot onto TDI, but can't quite finish him off. And this is quite comical to see the X-rays of the Teach just crouching along top mid, just ducking their heads above Dan W's vision. He is going to spot one, though, behind the Xbox. And he's holding the angle.
Absolutely terrified of Dan W at the moment. It's, like we said, comical seeing them crawling through mid. They get their head ripped off by Dan W, but they shouldn't be worrying about Dan W right now. His power. He's got Woody down on short. Woody, another mistake on short, catches himself out and opens up that short position for the Tees to take advantage of. But Solrak, he's rotated over now. He's going to be holding that side position. And Simon's now rotating out from B. He hasn't had much to do this round, so he's going hunting for that information. Sammy as well holding that long position. This round has slowed down slightly in that earlier play, but it's about to explode now. Oh, 180. Very clean headshot. Dan W returning the favor here. Doesn't find the second, and he's going to back away onto that B site to safety. Only for so long because the Tees are running. He is the only man holding that. He's not even looking the right way. Oh, Dan W, have you not got headphones on, brother? Warming over. Nade has dropped Dan W down. Solrak does find Tyler in the background. It's going to be a 2v2 retake.
Yeah, the Signals seem to have a huge problem with holding this B site down. Surprise, but surprise, don't capitalize on it further. Power, that's a ballsy play. Charges straight through the smoke, does find one. Solrak, one elusive, oh no!
What are you
How is he not connected that he's run out of mouse room? Maybe the player actually can't look up far enough. Solrak will be able to use this one, no problem at all though. That's going to put the Signals in a situation where they're 8-4 right now. They've secured themselves the half. They're hungry for more. I can't believe that. Surprised you shouldn't be losing that round. That's such a shame. Either way, though, I mean, they will be able to buy into this one. They managed to get the bomb plants. That is going to give them that extra bit of money. But I want to see Signals holding down B better here. And I want to see some more sort of teamwork over towards A. It's not necessarily a mistake from Woody to be contesting short. It's good to have a player in deep short on Dust 2. Yeah, it gives you some control. It means that you can contest more than that you should be allowed. But you have to play it with a teammate. Yeah, you have to have someone there to flash you to support. You can't just play it alone. And that being said, you've now got 3 players towards this B site. They seem to know that Surprise is going to try and take advantage of it. They've responded absolutely perfectly, and Simez finds himself 3 down, W2. That's their time to shine and completely shut down that site, the Signals. Well, that was against a buy round as well from Surprise. I like the attempt from Surprise. They've recognised Signal's weakness, and they have tried to abuse it, but just a little bit too late, really. If they'd have done it several rounds ago, they would have walked onto a free bomb site, but the Signals, I seem to be communicating with them telepathically. They responded well, stat the site. Sammy getting a little bit hungry here on long. Don't push up too far. It'll be a nice off angle, but he should only be good for 1 here, especially with these Tech 9s. Huge trade potential. Flash goes over. It's not going to affect Sammy, though. Spraying away. Exactly. Don't know. He's actually allowed so much more. He gets 2. Tags TDI down to 4 HP. He shouldn't be allowed that many, but Power with the 1 digs. He finds 2 of his own. Brings it into a 3-on-2. J-Shop's got himself an M4 as well. Power should be able to retrieve himself a gun. No, he's not. He's going to fall right back. He sticks with the Deagle. I respect that. That's absolutely fine. He seems to be on fire with it. The Signals are over-rotating here. And if Simez gets caught out, they could have the B site. It's Power with another crispy shot. Brings it onto a 2-on-2. Opens up that B site. They could catch a rotation here as well. Power is on fire. He doesn't need his teammates. He's found 4 crisp headshots. Surprise shouldn't be winning this round, and they've left Woody in an impossible situation. Power can hear him. He's on for the ace, but cannot find it. And now a 1v1 for Woody to try and clutch up to take his team to double digits.
What a back and forth round there as Woody just about finishes it off. Finding J-Shop. He's happy about that. He knows where the bomb is. Will he go looking for any other guns? I don't think he will. But Power, though, back at it again with those devastating headshots with the Deagle. Such a dangerous player to have on an eco round, especially those crucial ones that we've just been seeing. Though that one doesn't quite pay off. The Raw Signals have put a 10th round on the board. And, I mean, what can you say about those type of rounds, really? They're so great to watch. They're so entertaining. They're so fun. Because you never know who's going to take it at the end, really, do you?
I suppose not. It's exciting to see Power getting so many kills there. But that should have been Surprise's round. Once they were in that 1 versus 2, I mean, Power played it well. The whole mid. Woody, what are you doing? Actually, it's nice to see. I was going to say, I thought Woody was just pushing right up short on his own, but despite having no support from his short teammate, it seems that actually Sammy was pushing up long as well. So they had somewhat of a pincer there as the distraction was over towards top mid. He was able to swing out, get himself one full right back. So they do come out with a man advantage nonetheless. Dan W, though, unable to connect his shot. It is going to allow Surprise to get up short. Sammy's the only man there to try and stop them, but he takes out Elusive, gives them that two-man advantage, and, well, Surprise, there's really nothing they can do here. But Signals, they need to rotate a player over towards A. They've still just got 3 players dancing around the kind of CT area, and it's all on Sammy to hold it up. I mean, he does it perfectly, but if he falls there, it could have been a very different story. Either way, though, 4 kills for him. Signals an 11-4 half. I mean, my prediction, 16-9. Signals taking dust too. Woo!
Might just come true. Surprise have completely surprised me with how they've been playing this map. I'm not going to lie to you, I am moderately disappointed in the likes of Power, J-Shop, Elusive, and A180, all these star players. Like I'll go back to what I said earlier, though. Sometimes you get teams with star players that just click together so well, and you get this super team, like we've seen in the form of FaZe in the past. But obviously today it seems to be the exact opposite. Maybe these players are clashing against each other almost and not working together to, finish off these rounds and for the greater good in a whole. Maybe, just maybe, though, we might see a comeback as we see Surprise now on their CT side. And it's going to be the Signals charging into B probably a multitude of times like we see in matchmaking.
Potentially so. I mean, with that huge advantage that they have so many rounds to play with going into this second half. I think the pistol round would be a really, really important one for this Surprise side, because if they don't take it, allow Signals to get onto 12. If they string together those rounds following that, then it puts them in a really, really dangerous position where, I mean, they could take match point very, very soon. But yeah, they need to take this pistol round, Surprise. That will be the important one for them. Power, though, one that really stood up for me in that first half. He played incredibly well, and especially on that round where he found himself those 4 kills. An integral part of the rounds that they did take, and, well, it's a shame that those rounds where he had those big plays, they weren't able to come out on top. But let's see if they can find their footing going into the second half. A Surprise seems to be playing 2 players over towards long, 2 players on B. This is a much nicer setup, I think. 2 players going over towards long early. Once they secure that player into pit, 1 falls back onto site to support the short player. Short player takes the contact, falls right off to play with his site guy, and the quick rotation from B. This is much better from Surprise, but it seems that the Signals are just charging right in. They don't care. They're taking control of this A site. Elusive distracted with the guy on long, and he's going to get taken out at the back of the head from Sammy S. Man advantage going in the favour of the Signals and the bomb site, but definitely a doable retake for the Surprise side, especially on this A site, and TDI finding the shot through the smoke. Going to delay that bomb plant further, meaning that Power can come in from long. It's a very doable retake for the CT side.
That it is. Tyler has just been tapping away through those smokes. He does finally find the head of one of the Ts. But that's all she wrote for that pistol round. Signals are looking so dominant right now on Dust 2. I think you might just be right. If these next 2 rounds go the way of the Signals, I believe it's going to be a complete and utter whitewash here. And we'll be seeing ourselves on the second map very shortly. Though, I don't like to call out a team. So chat, if you are listening right now and you think that you have what it takes to bring the Surprise team back into this, if there are players on that team that you idolize, you support, and you love, let them know in the chat, because they need your support right now. As we, in fact, watch Team Surprise tapping away through the smoke, not finding a single thing as we see these Ts now rushing up short. Elusive has a lot to do here if he's going to stop this bomb plant. He's playing it very well. Doesn't quite have the weapon to do it, though, as Dan W and Simon spray down through the CT. Power gets the frag in return, but all of the frags from then on going the way of the Ts. Early, quick round for the Raw Signals, 13-4. What do you think, Josh? Is it going to be GG well played?
I think potentially so, especially if Surprise cannot take their buy round. They are going to buy into this one, but so late. I think there was maybe a bit of miscommunication there, maybe some doubt in whether they should be buying into this round or not. I think the answer is definitely yes, but they have got the limited utility, no AWP as well, so the Signal's a decent chance to close this one out, especially if Power's not connecting his shots like that. And Sammy coming out on top, they are able to just take this site with ease. A180, the only man left to try and stop him from crossing, but his mission's failed. Does a fair amount of damage. I like that bomb plant position as well. This has got to be the Signal's round right now. They've completely locked Surprise out the site. Surprise doing everything they can, using their utility. But the Signals, they've got such good post plants. And where that bomb's planted as well means that they can see it from pretty much everywhere.
That they do. The smoke is going to be completely blinding CTs now, but Elusive, he's actually seen one through the smoke, finds down W's head. Elusive finds a second. He's actually in the tunnel position now. It's opened up the site a bit more now for CTs, but that bomb is ticking down. It's going so quickly now as the frag's going in the way of Solrak. That bomb is going to blow, and the T's are going to commit to the cause as it's going the way of the Signals. What an interesting retake attempt there from the CTs. They just couldn't quite find the time. Unbelievable.
I don't think Woody intended to go down with this ship. I think Woody actually just couldn't jump there. Either way, though, they come out on top of the round. Now a 10-round lead as well. And, well, surprise, I thought this before. These save calls need to be coming in earlier, right? In a scenario like that, I understand why they're going for that retake. But as soon as that 10-second timer gets off, you know that there's no chance of you winning this round, yeah? Unless you're in a situation where you're actually on the site, maybe you're in a 1 versus 1 or something, then you commit to it, okay? But when you're still locked out the bomb site and that 10-second timer goes off, you go, nope, do you know what? There's absolutely no chance of us winning this round. Let's fall back, let's save these weapons and bring them into the next. But instead, they continued to fight the players on site until right up until the bomb was about to go off. Then a couple of players run away, and actually they lost so many more weapons than they should have done there, because they only lost one on the initial point of contact. So it was a 5 versus 4 retake. And no one really got any kills on that T side for a good sort of 20 seconds there. So they could have saved 3-4 weapons, and instead they only get away with what I believe was 1? Was that they get away with 1 weapon there?
I believe they did. And in fact, we're going to have a bit of time
to keep his scout.
He might have. We're going to find out, though. We've got a bit of time to work that out, because we have gone to a slight match pause here. Unaware whether it's a technical or whether it's just a bit of a timeout for the Surprise guys to maybe pull out something. Hopefully a wonderful comeback. Well, they're going to need it. If they don't, we're going to be going straight into map 2, which is going to be a good one to watch, as it will be Overpass. And like we said, it's a really surprising pick from Team Surprise, as obviously they are going to be the puggier team out of the two.
Let's see how they can do on Dust 2. Dan W almost connecting that shot. Seems like he's been practicing. Oh no, he did connect the shot. He's been practicing that timing. Takes TDI down to 30 HP. And the Signals here, really good opportunity to get themselves onto match point and close it out in the next. For the sake of my predictions, I'd quite like Surprise to pull back a few, but we'll have to see. J-Shop, he spotted the player on long. He's going to get the information, but instead of calling for the help from his teammate, he's going to contest it himself. It's going to cost him his life. Elusive finds one on the other side of the map, though, so we'll level things out to a 4 versus 4. Solrak might get caught out by timing here. It's exactly what's going to happen. TDI just walking straight through the doors. I mean, it's very odd. It's a very odd play, but it worked out fine for him, so just have to see how it pans out. Woody trying to do some work to bring it back and retrieve the bomb, but it's not working for him at all. And Simez, last alive, a 1 versus 3. He's definitely the man that can do it. But he's got a bomb to retrieve. He's got 3 players to find. And I think Surprise might be able to pull back a few rounds here.
That they might, especially this one. Seeing as Simez in his CT half was definitely the lone wolf on that B side. Hopefully that will, pay dividends here. But I want to take the... Oh! The knife doesn't pay off! Oh, power! He's right. This is the second time we've seen somebody on someone's head and it not go the way you'd expect it. Simez picks up another. Oh no, Surprise. Do not lose a round like this, please. I'm begging you. We don't need this level of chaos for these casters here, because I'm baffled. I'm bamboozled. And we're about to find out who it's going to be. I don't think Simon's quite ready. A180 does take a lot of damage from that nade. But Simon's run headlong into the crosshairs of A180. a bit tighter than I think the surprise guys wanted that, but I'm going to jump quickly back to say that TDI has been absolutely bullied this game by Dan W and that orb. Every time it's been a tag through a door, it's been Tyler. And I'm sure that must be getting right under his skin, I can imagine. Imagine playing every round and you're low on health because of the same AWPer.
What on earth are these teams doing? They won that last round, didn't they?
I guess it isn't going to work out as Tyler finds 3 there with that FAMAS.
They didn't. Sorry, they didn't. They didn't win the round. They didn't win the round.
No, they didn't. No, A180 just about pulled it back after that incredible knife attempt from Power. Didn't quite work out, though.
Would have got a beating from his teammates if they hadn't won that round. That's always a risk that you play when you go for a knife in a 1 versus 3 like that. For now, though, Surprise seem to be coming out on top. Just going back to that last round of that 1 versus 1 clutch, I found it quite bizarre that Somers peeked that with his knife out because he threw a grenade there. So if he's confident enough that a player can be there, that he's going to throw $300 at them, then you'd think that he would be confident enough that there's someone there to have his gun in his hand as he peeks around the corner. But either way, they have got enough of a lead that they can afford some mistakes like that. Solrak right now, if he could take a couple of guns out of the CT side's hands, it would be absolutely detrimental for them going into the next round because actually Surprise haven't really got any money to rebuy. So if they lose weapons, especially with that CT economy, having to pay 3,100 for an M4, especially if he can take this AWP out the hands. There we go. There's one tapping away at the AWP. That's almost the second. Oh, come on, Solrak. A180, he's so low. But J-Shock coming in from behind. Come on, peek, man. Your teammate's going to die. And wow. I understand it, but A180, he was being shot. He was getting tagged really, really low there. J-Shock just needed to swing and make sure that his teammate didn't lose the weapon.
Not entirely sure what's going on with these rounds. I feel like Surprised have hit a level of delirium at this point, and they're just trying everything under the book to make these rounds somewhat creative and kooky, if not completely bewildering the signals at the moment, as they have, picked up a couple of rounds now to maybe make your prediction just that little bit more realistic. Possibly, I think there's a theory behind this, Josh. I think they heard your prediction, and they're playing out perfectly just so that my prediction is even more wrong than it could have been.
Yeah, it might be the case. They're all rooting against you. I don't know if you saw it at the start of the round. Well, I like this sticker bug. Are you getting this as well? Just a floating Half-Life in there.
Yes, I've been noticing that.
I liked at the start of the round that all of the T players, they seemed to leave spawn really late, and they were kind of in a little huddle. Like a little 3, 2, 1, let's go team. As a minute goes on the clock. Still no engagements to be had, but the T side, they've taken long control, they've got mid control, they've actually got a huge amount of the map right now, as Surprise, really confined down to these bomb sites. Simer's walking up. Is he going to predict a co-op player here, though? Seems to be periodically checking it, knows that there might be someone there, but as that flash comes in, come on, you need to poke your head up here. Who is this on Car? It's elusive. He can poke up and just get a free kill here, especially off of that flashbang, but he's still just choosing to hide. Come on, man. Come on.
So well. Maybe that stick blocking
might get more.
Ooh,
wow, that's a big time. He timed that perfectly. Ignore me, elusive. You played that quite well. Actually, Surprise. A big round. A big round. A180 finishing it off. The Signals haven't got the money to buy into this one. So it's looking like they are going to opt for just a pistol buy down to 2k. Surprise should be able to take this next one. So we're looking at a 14-8. Come on, Signals. Start closing it out soon. Don't want to be letting this one slip, because if Surprise can string together a couple more rounds, then we'll be looking close enough to pull it back. Simers, though, just charging straight into B. In fact, all of his teammates are on power. Anyone there to hold it up? A180's there on the fast rotation with the AWP, but he can't connect the shot. Woody should be able to get the bomb down here.
Molotov was beautifully timed there.
Oh no.
But he does... Woody! Wow. Woody not even phased by the Molotov. Not go down to it, but damn, he does have the accuracy to find A180 in that window position. And that sticker bug is really causing a lot of chaos for these players, I think. But that would really distract me as well.
Might just be for our POV, that sticker bug. I can't imagine that he just has a floating sticker on his screen, but maybe he does. I love that play from Woody, though. I think so many times in a scenario like that, where you're in the Molotov, players focus too much on just pulling their knife out and just trying to run out the way to survive. But actually, if a player's thrown a Molotov, then they're going to be holding it. And as soon as you peek out from that box, you're going to be in an engagement. So to actually just say, do you know what? I know that I'm in this Molotov. I know I'm going to die, but I'm going to take someone down with me. And you peek it, find the kill, and then burn. It's so, so cool. You do love to see it. And it's a big kill for him to find. So now we are seeing the signals on a full buy. Haven't got the money to put the AWP on Dan W, so just the AKs. But look at this. The flank coming in from Power right now. He's pushed all the way up B. He's got the information. It means that the surprise roster can rotate all of their players over towards A. So it's going to be a 5 versus 5 bloodbath on this site. The CT smokes missed, but it doesn't matter as Sammy finds one. The AWP shot's missed, but Sammy messes up his spray. So A180 allowed to capitalize. Now a 3 versus 3, and they're still yet to get on the site. The signals, they're fighting for their lives here. And Woody's going to be the one to find the kill onto Elusive. And Surprise having to retake this one, as the flankers took just a little bit too long.
Absolutely. That back and forth round was great to see, but now it's slowed down a bit. We're noticing that we have a 2 versus 2. Make that 2 versus Power. Taking advantage of a falling T there. TDI finding Solrak in the backlines. That name is going to be absolutely devastating. What are the T's doing right now? They have the height advantage. If you have the high ground, don't jump down. But Woody goes from being the movie hero, burning alive, taking out a warrior in the window, but then goes to the second attempt. His stunt double would have been better off doing that, I think, as we go into 14-9 scoreline. And the Surprise team surprisingly pulling this one back.
Hey, absolutely right to call it out. They've completely thrown that round away. There was no need for Dan W to jump down in the first place. I don't know if there was like a call that maybe they were both CT, and if that's the case, then him if there was a call that they were both long, and in which case him jumping down to CT somewhat makes sense. But if not, and he's just done it off of initiative, then that is a huge misplay. I don't understand it at all. Woody jumping down there as the last man alive somewhat makes sense because they knew his positions. They were just bombarding him with grenades. But still, Signals, they had the man advantage. They could have just played the trading game, came out on top and closed it out. But they throw the round away. Either way, they've got the man advantage in this one. A Surprise are on number 9. And if Signals can take this round, we might be looking into the face of a 16-9. But Surprise are fighting hard for it. TDI finding one back, taking out Solrak, brings it onto a 4-on-4. As he's flashing, he's forced right back. Power taking out Dan W on the site. Power finding himself a second as well. He's holding up this site very, very well indeed, as that's the bomb down now, and surely the round to good for Surprise.
Very uncharacteristic miss there from Power, though. He picked up the AWP, and it does leave Tyler on his own in the site, but CTs are rotating over. Surely they might hear Sammy making a lot of noise like an elephant in that under area. There's a CT waiting for them up the top of mid. J-Shop doesn't quite capitalize on it just yet. Elusive takes the one. Simon slips through the net here, and he's going to be able to get on the site. If he doesn't make a bit of a strange play like we saw earlier, he will get the bomb down. Just about. There we go. He gets it down, and he gets the frag for it. What are you doing, Simus? He's in a 1v2 now with Elusive very low on HP. That nade does take him down, but TDI tapping away with a pistol. That round should not have been that close.
Yeah, Simez has done really, really well there, and I question whether if his teammate had survived too, whether they would have been able to take that one, but unfortunately they cannot. They have got the money to buy into this one again though, so they will be doing so. They need to be doing something different here, though, because Surprise are starting to look dangerous. They've pulled this back from what was a 14-4 to now 14-10. And if they don't win this next buy round, they'll be forced down to an eco. Surprise can put themselves on 14-12. And all of a sudden, things aren't so comfortable anymore. And again, they're going for a B rush. Power the man to try and hold things up. He needs to make a hero play here, and he's not able to find himself anything. So the B site goes in the favor of the Signals, and we've seen this too many times this game, where they're able to just lock out the CTs with this utility. But as the bomb's out in the open, A180 is still able to wreak havoc. The Molotov going down on the bomb as well, going to slow things down further. In fact, Dan W's going to burn to it. wow, the signals, all they had to do was put themselves in the corner, get that bomb down. It's all falling apart. TDI falls, but as Elusive takes out Woody, leaves Simez in another 1v3, and this time I don't think he's got it in him.
He might not, but the CT's doubting the position of Simez. He gets one, doesn't find the second. That flick from A180, though, that was a beautiful shot from him with the AWP. He's the one that we're going to probably see using that more today as Dan... no, not Dan W, sorry. Power has not been doing too well with it. We haven't seen J-Shop on it either. So A180 is the man with the big green gun, in my opinion, for the rest of these maps that we might see. Who would have counted Surprise getting 11 rounds on the board after that start we saw earlier?
Yeah, I would not have expected it at all, but they seem to be doing pretty well right now. 180 would have fed that information on mid. Molotov's good as well to stop them from pushing it mid to B. Dan W, a questionable repeat there. It's going to cost him his life. Man advantage going in the signal side, and they're still continuing to tease him. Trying to land some kind of lucky 1D to take out that AWP, but as they continue to PK 180 here, they're dropping like flies. The two-man advantage on the CT side now. They finally say, right, let's try and work something over towards B, but it's going to be Power waiting, and he should just be able to mow them down. He'll do exactly that, but J-Shop cleaning things up onto Soul Rack means that Surprise, well, they put themselves in that dangerous number 12. And the Signals, they really need to win this buy round if they want to be closing this one out in regular time. I think they'll be very, very upset if this ends up going to overtime, or even worse, if they end up losing this one. That would be absolutely catastrophic for them. A180 though, that's a big pick. A nice way to play around that smoke. Work with that one way. Give Surprise that man advantage.
A180, what a shot. X-ray vision can confirm, chat. Vacation coming for him very soon. So we see Power in such a he's in a very bad position right there. And Pitt gets naded out by Sammy S. J-Shop is gonna run back to site now, and A180, he's not done with that AWP. He knows exactly where those T's are, and he wants to play. Though he is a little bit lower now. Courtesy of some flying stray bullets. We're gonna see a 4v4, but it's almost looking like a 2v4 with the health on Woody and Sammy being so low. And they are going to be committing to this A push. Elusive is in such a good position to do something about this. If he plays it right, he doesn't find one. A180 finds him instead. As TDI is holding that ramp position. Simons. Oh, A180 is just, he's plowing them down one after another. It's a second frag for him with the AWP. Woody, he's going to be very, very carefully creeping around to try and find out where A180's position is.
Oh, no, he hasn't swung wide enough, but he does just about manage to get across. And Simon should be able to find this one onto TDI. He's going to do exactly that. That might just secure them the round. Is he going to expect the second player to be in mid, though? I think he's heard him. Please don't peek here, Simez. There we go. Reel it back a bit. You've got the advantage here. You don't need to be pushing it. You know exactly where he is. You can fall back, work it from somewhere else. They're going to do exactly that, and Signals should be able to put themselves onto match point here. This is massive. I really like that play from Sammy earlier on as well, where he knew he was really low. So he was the first man. He just jumped out, knew he was going to die on the cross, but his teammate was there ready to get the trade. Very, very smart play to be the bait. And, well, A180 overstaying his welcome, holding that short angle. They could hear the scope. They knew he was there, and Simez going to swing around, take that AWP out of play. Shouldn't make too much of a difference, though, because the CTs right now have got the money to just rebuy another one. Are they going to choose to? No. Okay.
No, they are not.
Oh, okay. Power dropped one to his teammate. I was thinking Power's got 8k. He could have bought one. But instead, he's dropped an M4 over to his teammate. So they are just down to these rifles and nades. But the lack of AWP might be a problem. A180, the aggression. Finds himself one, but quickly traded. So it's a 4-on-4.
It is a 4-on-4 as we see Power getting himself into a good position here to possibly nullify this T push. That T round now, putting them on match point 15-12. Again, though, doesn't matter as Surprise have been pulling this one back. It's been a great game to see. Even if it has been, like we said earlier, quite a dogfight for it. He's in such a good position on mid now. Ball's going to come down. He only finds one Simons coming up clutch there as Woody finds TDI. 2 versus 2. J-Shop and Power, they're split between the sites, and the T's now have the opportunity to pick which one they want to go to without being hassled all that much getting there.
There's 2 huge whiffs from the CT side, and J-Shop's position here, you can't be playing here alone. I think he expects them to be coming from CT, and that's not going to be the case. They are going to come from long, but nonetheless, they can't connect the shots, and J-Shop coming out on top has a big round for Surprise to win, gives them that lifeline. Signals have got 2 chances to close this one out, but as they haven't got the money going into this round, they are opting to go for the eco and buy into the next. So Surprise got the opportunity to put themselves on 15-14. I would not have expected this, especially after the Signals domination in the first half. They've done very well to pull this one back. And now the Signals, well, they're all grouped up over towards P, but it's not looking like they're going to go anywhere quick. It's looking like they are going to opt for some kind of split, and it might work out for them, as actually they've been given mid for free.
Does look like they have taken the full control here. Smoke goes down. Sammy is going to climb up onto short now. A180. Oh, Elusive is ready for Sam, and he runs away as well. Smart from him, because he knows those pistols can be very dangerous in close range situations. Speaking of pistols, Dan W now looking to try and tap away with the Deagle. Looking for a head, but doesn't quite find it, and he does have the bomb in that position as well. I do believe this round is going to be a very hard one. Signal to really work with as Tyler spamming through that door position. 54 seconds as the clock is ticking down. Oh, the bomb doesn't find the mark. That's unfortunate from Dan W. I think that might be the round there for Surprise. That bomb hitting the wall there, clipping it just by an inch. Finalize that round there for Team Surprise.
Even if they did manage to get the bomb up short there, I think it would have been a very difficult one to actually get it up catwalk and onto the site. But either way, it not being able to just reach above that lip of short means that it is going to be the round comfortably going in the favour of Surprise. Double T-side AWP from the Signals, though. This is one that you don't see very often. Something you don't see very often in Counter-Strike at all, especially on a map like Dust 2. Either way, though, as what they've opted for, it seems to have cost them quite a lot of utility as well. Had they not have bought that AWP, Sammy could have a full set of nades here. But, I mean, it's questionable, but it's what they've gone for, and it might work out as the CT side unable to buy one of their own. It's just A180 with the scout, and he's going to swiftly get taken down by Dan W. So the man advantage going on the T side. They take mid control. Solrak just about to swing short here. Please swing it with a teammate. You can't go alone, but he finds one. Make that 2. Solrak, against all odds, comes out on top, and the Signals should just be able to close this one out unless J-Shop can make a huge play to hold up this site. Finds himself 1, but as he gets traded, Power in a 1v4. He gets taken down by Sammy and Signals. Well, they pull it out at the end when needed, but so much closer than I think they would have hoped, and so much closer than everyone would have been expecting. I mean, I predicted it right that they were going to win the game, but I was not expecting it to be as close as that. They've dominated on that first half, and I was expecting them to dominate on Dust 2, especially on that CT side. But going into the T side, they really seemed to just struggle, and it allowed the Surprise roster to pull it right back. And well, to be honest with you, I thought that was going to go to overtime. I did not think Signals were going to be able to win that last round, just on the sheer fact that the rounds before that, they just seemed kind of lost, yeah? Things just weren't working out for them at all. They were whiffing their shots, even on these rounds where they were just faced against pistols, and the Surprise side were fighting just with these pistols just to try and keep afloat and prevent their team from going to match point. They still were losing out, and, well, they've done well to pull it out the bag. A win's a win, doesn't matter on the round difference too much. So we will be going into map number 2, which is Overpass. It's Surprise's map pick, so you'd like to think they'd be able to take it, but I think they'll be pretty disappointed with that result, actually, and that might show in this next game.
Well, what a comeback. It's a shame to see Surprise do all that work only for the Signals to tease them all the way up till the end and then finish it off just like that. But it does open us up for a more exciting second game. Like you said, it's going to be on Overpass. We'll be going into that momentarily. But right now, guys, this is your opportunity to go and get a drink, go get some snacks, park your butt down for game 2. That's what we're going to do right here. going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back with some more Lions League action right here for you. Catch you in a sec, guys.
don't live in your part of the world, and I wish that I did. Oh, but nothing is forever, my girl. See, I'm a dreamer. Oh, for love, it is all in the name. I'm a believer. You may be far away, but you're thinking the same. Oh, I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. Oh, 'cause you're the real deal. You're worth every bit as much as you know. Yeah, delivered, signed and sealed. I will get that girl, albeit slow. And I'm a dreamer. Yeah, for love, it is all in the name. I'm a believer. You may be far away, but we're thinking the same. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I'll be waiting for you. 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 Picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I'll be waiting for you. 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 There's a notebook on the table, you can take it to the store, so you won't forget the groceries anymore. There's a rifle in the cabinet that I used to fight a war, but to this day I don't know what I was fighting for. I'm fighting for. Show me love, let's make it over, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of it on me. Show me love.
Because your hand belongs in my hand, belongs in your hand, belongs with me. Show me love as we get older, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of enemy, show me love as we go colder. Let our love provide the heat. After 30 years of service and months of enemy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hopefully you took advantage of that break to grab yourself anything you needed, whether you went to the loo, whether you got yourself some Doritos, anything like that. Hopefully you are prepared for our second game, which is going to be on Overpass. It's going to be the Signals, the Royal Signals versus Team Surprise. And surprisingly, Team Surprise almost came in clutch last game, but the Signals came out on top. Josh, have you got anything to say about last game just before we jump into this second map?
Oh, well, I think it was a lot closer than everyone was expecting. I think it was a lot closer than it really should have been as well. It seemed like the Signals were really on top. They were dominating. They weren't making too many mistakes, and they were playing their CZ side quite well. I say there weren't any mistakes. There were a few mistakes. I picked up on their sort of lack of B control a lot of the time, and it seemed that when the Surprise team were going over towards B, it was really, really costly. But either way, they were in control in that first half. They completely threw it away in the second, and they really had to scavenge right at the end to pull back like 2 rounds. Yeah, and I think if there was more rounds in the game, or perhaps if Surprise hadn't have given up so many rounds in the first half, then maybe that could have gone the other way. But either way, the Signals, name went out of my head for a second there. Signals take the first map, and we go into Overpass. They're now in a position where if they take this one, they take the series 2-0. So I think there will be that level of confidence going into it, but it is the Surprise team's map pick, and I'm interested to see why they've chosen to pick this map, yeah, because this isn't from what we saw on Dust 2, they're a very puggy team, and they're very capable as a puggy team. You've got some serious aimers there. I mean, Power was like, he was on fire, like in terms of his aim duels. I saw that every single time he was taking these 1v1 aim duels, he was winning them. It just seemed that there were several rounds where he sort of would just get overwhelmed. He'd go into a peak, he'd try and push somewhere, he'd get overwhelmed by like 2 or 3 players, and it wasn't working out for him. So when you have players like that on your team, it makes sense to go into Mirage, it makes sense to go into an Inferno. So I'm interested to see Overpass. It's an odd map pick, but I'm interested to see why they've picked that map, because there must be a reason for it. They haven't just said, "Oh, do you know what? Hippity bippity boppity, let's go on to Overpass." Like they've obviously got a reason for it. So maybe they've been practicing. Maybe it's just a map that they really love. So we'll have to wait and see, and we'll have to see if the Signals are prepared for it at all as well. Because I mean, they might not be.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. But surprise though, they've picked this map going into what would be possibly the most team-orientated map in regards to getting the rotates in, getting the positions on site locked down, and obviously it's a very expansive map. There's a lot of areas that you wouldn't expect the CTs to have to hold when the Ts are rushing through. Obviously, it's a map where you can rotate very quickly from site to site. Obviously, there's 2 different ways you can get down there very quickly. And especially that mid position, a lot of teams will leave that lacking on their CT side, allowing the Ts a lot of wiggle room and a lot of maneuverability. In fact, we're going to see that here as Solrak... Oh, they do take control of that mid position. I was worried that they wouldn't. And the Train of Pain now, chug and choo-chooing down the long position. And I don't believe there's only one CT ready to receive them, and he's only just getting into that position now. It's down W. The train has diverted. They're going down an alternate route into 2 CTs as it starts up strong for Power. Demolishing Sammy, running straight over him. And the train has now stalled in that bathroom position with Power sneaking down into that connector area.
Yeah, it's the snake strat. All they've got to do is go back up con for the cinnamon swirl, but I don't think they're going to do it. They are going to go right down through connector, round through to B. I like this. They've completely cleared out long. They've completely cleared out toilets, which means they cut out the fast rotations. They go down to B, but the patience on the CT side, it's Woody on barrels. They can't seem to deal with him. They've dinked him, but he's still causing havoc, and those few seconds that he's bought allows his teammates, as you were saying before, there's such fast rotations, means that Simez and Dan W can get into positions where they can contest this site, but with a 2-man disadvantage, it's going to be very difficult. Dan W coming out on top, taking out Elusive, though. But as his teammate falls, it's all on him. A 1 versus 3. Bomb to defused as well, tapping away. Not a lot he can do here. Power's going to come out on top, and Surprise will take the pistol round rather convincingly. I quite like that strat. A lot of dominance, a lot of early control gained from them. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be difficult for the Signals to bounce back from that one. It is quite overwhelming when you're a player in that situation. You hear all of those footsteps, especially those players going for the info on mid. It means that those comms can get quite messy quite quickly. As soon as you see 5 players crossing into playground, you go, it's all A, rotate. And then you've got the T's dancing around the map like that. Makes it very difficult. What makes it even more difficult, though, is when you're trying to take mid control and you're being mowed down by the Mac 10s of the T side. 4 players fall, and it's Simez in a 1 versus 5. He's got a good position, but he's too late to the party.
Exactly, as he does traverse over to party. Great call there from Josh. As he sees 3 of his fallen comrades. Runs through toilets. I do believe he's going to get caught out pretty quickly. Though there are a lot of T's still lingering on the A side that might get caught off by him, or he might actually catch them. Power does catch him off guard there, and does mow him down with that PP Bison. Second round going the way of Team Surprise, and they're looking confident on their T side. I think it's where we're going to find the faults in their play, at least, will be their CT. I would believe.
Maybe so. They're looking pretty comfortable on their CT side. Whole lot of money as well from those Mac 10s. But they do opt to go for the bonus round, despite the fact they've got 5k on a lot of these players, just from that $600 kill reward with those Mac 10 kills. Utility doing a fair amount of damage. Simez unable to find himself anything as well. As the T side, they're walking straight onto the site. Woody, too many players to watch at once, and it's going to cost him his life. Sammy coming in, finds himself 1. A lot of damage on these T players, so definitely a doable retake. But Surprise, they've had the time to get the post plants, and they've now got the information. Sammy's flank is no longer unknown. He hasn't got the element of surprise. And, well, that grenade not going to do a whole lot either as the bomb's beeping away. It's looking more and more favourable for the T side. The CTs need to get the picks, and there we go. Sammy and Solrak finding 2 of their own. Dan W chiming in, finding 1 as well from Heaven, and it's J-Shop last alive. And the CTs, they're not going to have time to defuse this bomb, you know.
Oh, no, not like this. Third
Convincing
round.
retake, but no kit on any of the players.
Unbelievable. Sorak was convinced he had that there. But Surprise, pulling out the surprising round win as we go into our 4th round. Josh, how do you think this is shaping up already? Surprise, they're doing so well on their T side, and Signals, they're doing a lot of right things, but they just aren't seeming to put the round on the board.
Well, I mean, Surprise feel like they're dominating right now. Yeah, they're going to be pretty confident. However, all that they're doing is that they're not going for any defaults. They're not really taking any map control slowly or anything like that. They are all just charging together. Now, whilst they're against the Signal side where they're down to these pistols and like they've not got a huge amount of money, they've not got a huge amount of utility to stop it, they can come out on top. But as soon as they go up against a buy round, this 4 players charging together isn't necessarily going to work. Because if you try and put 5 players through Monster, you instantly get stopped by a Molotov, yeah? You try and charge 5 players up long like this, like, it's such a long angle. You can have someone play for the information, someone peeks, sees 5 guys at the bottom along, throws a flashbang, falls right back, and then all of a sudden calls the rotations, and you just get bombarded. There's no chance. So right now it's working for them, but I don't think that this is a repeatable strategy. I think that they are going to start to come to the realization that they can't just continue to charge in and take map control. However, for now, they seem to be doing it really well, and their aim is just prevailing. Zorak bringing this back onto a 3-on-3, though, with that Deagle, and with Elusive on 30 HP. This is definitely doable for the Signals side. Zorak unable to go and retrieve that rifle, though. There's two guys patiently waiting for him to do so. There we go. He does actually peek out, grab that rifle, throws it to his teammate. He's the man with the Kevlar as well. Zorak charging in, doing a little bit of damage, and this is definitely doable for Woody if he can connect these shots.
Now he can. He's in a great position to find it. He finds two. Does he find the third? No. 180 has demolished him. It's a 1v1. The bomb is going down, and Simers knows where the player is. Doesn't capitalize on the distance there, though. He backs into bank, giving a 180 the opportunity to slip away with this AWP as well. Oh, is this a misplay from Simers? He could have closed the gap, maybe taken out 180. Am I going to see Simers creeping up on the bomb now? 180, it's in his hands to win this. One whip, it's over. There we go. 180 picks it up. Surprise, have a fourth round on the board. And again, the signal's so close, but so far. And they're back on the back foot yet again. But they do have a bye round.
Do indeed. They've done really well to make it as close as they did just on those pistols. I think Simers played that last clutch pretty poorly, actually. He had plenty of time on the bomb. I really hate it when players go for that play where they hold the bomb. They're holding down E, but they're also holding the angle. Because if someone peeks, you're not going to win that fight. Yeah, it's completely pointless. You're either trying to hold down the bomb, in which case you're crouching, you're trying to make your hitbox small and you just like throw a smoke or something, or you're actually faking the bomb and then you try and go for the kill. You can't do both, because if they peek, there's such a delay on you being able to come off the bomb and shoot that you have absolutely no chance. So, surprise team, after what looked pretty shaky up against those pistols, are back on top, and right now they're mowing through these guns. It's Woody and Dan W, and if Dan W, well, no, actually, Surprise are going over towards B. Woody's got potential to make this work, but the flash comes in. That's actually a really good read from the T side to clear that angle. Dan W needs to just go and save here.
That's unfortunate for Woody. He was in such a great position. He was just looking the wrong way. Gets caught out by the flashbang. I think he would have probably gone down even without the flashbang there, as the T's just jump out on top of him. They take him down. Dan W, he's a very good player, but I don't see him taking this even if he wanted to. So if we want to just go back to that last round we saw there with, who was it, I believe? It was A180 and Simers there. Was there anything that Simers could have done there to have taken that round for his team? Oh, it's not over yet now, actually. Dan W does take down Power. He finds TDI. He's playing in the playground, and he is not playing fair. He takes down 2 for it, and he's still alive with the big green gun. Question back to you, Josh. My apologies, Dan W rudely interrupted us casters here today.
He's done well to save that up, but yeah, I'm not too sure. In that kind of scenario, I feel you do just need to either charge down that player, because you know that he's got the AWP in that corner, or you go for that fake, you fall back, and then as they peek, then you try and make it work. In that scenario as well, as the bomb was going down, he was in bank, so he could have got up close to the player and taken him down as soon as he came off of that plant, but instead he fell right back and allowed, I believe it was TDI, to get himself a post-plant position, get himself into long, and make that round much, much easier for himself. Right now, though, we have just seen Surprise just charge straight onto the B site. I don't know how they've done this, because they've managed to get the bomb down before actually getting any kills. So effectively, it was a 5 versus 5 retake. The Signals now are trying to get their way back into this site, but the B site's a difficult one to retake, but not when A180 is doing stuff like that. He's right out in the open. That's going to cost him, but J-Shop and Power doing some big, big work. Samyas finding one back into 1 versus 1 map, but that bomb's going way too fast. He needs to hold it. Instead, he opts for the fake, but it's far too late. Unable to find himself the kill as well. Power going to close it out, and Surprise goes 6 up. And, well, they're looking really, really confident. The Signals evidently just don't know how to deal with Surprise on this map. They seem to be really, really struggling. And there's so much that hasn't been utilized yet. And I'm interested to see if these positions get utilized, because Overpass is one of those maps, like you were saying about before, where there's so many angles that you wouldn't necessarily expect to have to hold. Like just before coming into this one, I actually played an Overpass game, and I was playing a B CT side, and I completely forgot how many angles there are that players can boost from. Yeah, so if you're playing on site, they can boost from short and clear you. They can boost from T-spawn and clear you. There's so many angles that you have to be worried about whilst you're playing this B site. And there's so many things that you can utilize as a T side where you can go for these boosts. And the same goes for a CT side as well. You can boost into short, that wall's quite low, you can make things work. Neither team are doing it. I think that
Not at
might be
all.
what the Signals need to do. They need to start utilizing these overpowered positions if they want to take it, because right now they're just getting mowed down. Surprise, charging up long. Should be able to go to these pistols with ease. Solrak, not sure how he survived as long as he did, but he finally falls. Woody should just be saving here, and I think that's what he's going to do.
He's running like the wind right now through to B. He's going to try and get out of there with the orb. And yeah, you are very correct. This map is so hard to manage if you haven't been practicing it. But we're seeing the exact opposite here. Obviously, this map is not a Signal's favorite, but yet again, we have to remember that Surprise is a team that's been put together as a friendly, matchup against this fully fledged team of Army gamers. Now, it's very interesting to also see that the Signals, they are barely just losing these rounds. Obviously, it's very convincing in the sense of Surprise, as they are getting the round down. But it's going to these 1v1s, these very close endings, especially with the CTs kind of clinging onto it and just losing it by the skin of their teeth. I just don't know when this reign of bad luck is going to end for the Raw Signals, and they're going to get this first round on the board. Let's just hope it's soon, or else this map is going to be a very one-sided event.
Yeah, I mean, you're right in terms of it coming down to these 1 versus 1s, but the issue is that the Signals seem to be strong on their retakes, but their retakes are far too late. Like, in fact, the rotations are just far too late. So Surprise seem to just be balling up, going towards the side. We haven't really seen them, other than in the pistol round, we haven't seen them go for any fakes or anything. They just seem to push somewhere, and they commit to it. And what seems to happen is the players on the site, the Signals, either get one and fall, or they get no kills and they fall. And then the rotations come in, they clean up the players, but by then the bomb's already down and it's already been beeping for 30 seconds. And we've seen several rounds where, well, we saw a round where the retake came in, but they didn't have time to defuse. We've seen rounds where the retakes come in and it comes down to a 1 versus 1, and it's definitely a winnable one for the Signals, but they just haven't got the time, and therefore they're forced to make a stupid play where they have to push or they have to try and hold it. So Surprise are definitely on top, but what the Signals need to do, it might be a communication issue, it might be just down to the fact that these players are just rotating too slowly and they need to be more reactive off these calls. Or maybe it is just that they need to be winning their gunfights. Solrak, good positioning from him, allows him to come on top with 2. And they're not going to be clearing that close toilet angle. So the Signals are 3-on-1 now. They are on top. An A180 with 10 seconds left on the clock needs to just stay alive here.
There we go. We're going to see that first round go on the board for the Signals. Obviously, we're seeing a great, or at least a different strategy coming out from the Signals now. They're playing it a bit more passively, per se. I'd like to make note here that obviously A180 is playing for Team Surprise, but as we've seen from the chat, A180 is actually a member of the Raw Signals lineup as well. Very interesting lineup for the Surprise team. Does that mean that A180 is going to get a read on how Signals might play and possibly even do over his own teammates here? As we see A180, in fact, as we were just talking about him, take down Sammy. Solrak takes down 2 in return. TDI and A180 going down at the hands of Solrak, and he's not done. He has the bomb and a lot of utility. So away. Those T's away, in fact.
Yeah, it's funky to see. I think we've seen it in previous weeks as well, actually, where a player has stood in front of the team, and he's playing against his own roster. A little bit of a conflict of interest, I suppose. It means that he potentially could have a read on his teammates, but as this is the Surprise map pick, And it seems quite evident that the Signals don't really have anything set up. Their CT defaults have been different every single round, yeah? They don't seem to have a clear CT setup. They're kind of just... they're kind of just playing around the map, yeah? Seeing where they can get the picks. So I think that actually on this map in particular, it would be very, very difficult to make those kind of reads and give that kind of information across. But definitely on Dust 2, that could have come into play on that CT side. Right now, though, Surprise just doing much of the same of what we've seen before, but the Signals seem to be responding to it. They're all just pushing in, trying to take this A control early. Solrak, the only man there, cleaning up. Sammy S coming in from Connector, helping him out. Actually switching to the pistol as well and taking out A180, a big whiff from him. At least power in a 1v4, just with this Deagle. He's shown that he's certainly capable with it. And there's the scenario, a perfect example. The 1D Simez, but still far too much work to do. And he's still got to retrieve that bomb as well.
Not finished yet. He's still hunting for more frags, and he does find Sammy S. He's got the distance against these players. I think he might have got the read that both CTs are now up long, which means he has the opportunity to maybe take this bomb somewhere else. Time is also in his favor. We might see a very good clutch here come out from him. His Molotov blocks off the CTs. His timing is so phenomenal right now, except for door stuck moment right there where he gets caught up. He's going to run straight to B like a Formula 1 car now. And he's going to get that bomb down, putting him in a 2v1 retake situation. But will his position be the death of him, as he is going to give the read to the AWPer in heaven? But he's still alive. He does find Dan W. It's going to be a 1v1 now versus Woody and an AWP. He's got a great opportunity, and he does find it. He's so happy about that. The little power wiggle coming out. Can you feel the power, chat? Because we can here in the casting booth. What a clutch from Power.
It's a huge clutch from Power, but just absolutely shocking from the Signals side to be giving that one away. The first two players have contested him individually, and then the last two are sitting on top of each other in long. They're not holding the bomb at all, which was down in mid. They could have just... They both had AWPs. They could have just set up a hold there on the bomb, denied him from collecting it, but instead they let him get it. They then sat on each other, like getting in each other's way over towards long. The rotation was far too slow, allowed him to get the post plants, and then they tried to retake a 2 versus 1 with 2 AWPs. It was never going to work. And well, surprise. In fact, Power capitalizes on it. Surprise right now, though. They managed to get themselves onto the B bomb site. They get the bomb down, but as they're losing their Angels, the Signals seem to be coming out on top with this early retake. TDI's got himself a fantastic position to contest this bomb, but with no Molotov, it's going to make it quite hard to deny the defuse. You should have heard Simez tap it. He's going to poke his head over. He denies the defuse. Can he get the second? If he can, this round could be all falling apart. He's not going to spot Dan W coming up, but it's Dan W whiffing his shots. Ooh, far too close for my liking. Woody should be able to get it. No, he doesn't. He hasn't got time. Ooh. Oh no, the Signals. This is what I mean. These retakes are just too slow. They're too slow. The rotations are too slow. They're too slow on getting in. When you're all outside of the site and you say, right, okay, we need to get onto this bomb site. We need to initiate this retake. You need to say, right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's go in. We're 20 seconds in the site before the bomb's going to go off, and we have time to take this round. But instead, they're taking too long on these fights, and it means that by the time they are on the site and they're dancing around the bomb, sort of tapping it, trying to fake out the players, they've only got 15 seconds left. So it means that these players don't even have to peek, or if they do peek, they've only got to deny one diffuser, and that's it. The round's over. So it was played really well from Surprise there, but at the same time, the Signals, they could have prevented that one very, very easily. Huge whiff from Dan W as well, making that all the bit harder for the Signals. And yeah, Surprise just dominating on this map. I'd be interested to see if this momentum that they've got on the T side can go into the CT side, because obviously, typically when you pick a map, especially on a roster like this, where they're just a pickup roster, and they will just be pugging this out. It's exactly what they're doing. The T side will be the favourable one. So what could be detrimental to them is if they go onto this CT side and they have no coordination and they can't they can't hold down these bomb sites, then that's where the signals could come back. But for now, Surprise just extending their gap and allowing themselves, if they aren't as prepared for the CT side, allowing themselves plenty of chances to try and string together a couple. Signals really need to pull some rounds back here, though, because if they can and they can pull 4 back, then 9-6 half, that's a decent half, yeah. But if they allow Surprise to just take a few more, all of a sudden it becomes an impossible one to bring back.
It does. It's unfortunate to see things happen like that. I mean, it was great to watch Tyler, pull that off just by the skin of his teeth. Obviously, getting enough time out of the bomb and keeping those CTs at bay long enough for the bomb to go off. But again, it was the raw signals round to lose really there, and they did in the end lose it. I hope we don't keep seeing this run of form from them, because if it is going to continue like this, we're going to see a very, very one-sided match. But then again, we haven't seen what Surprise have in store for the CT side, and whether it's just simply down to a very underprepared raw signal CT half. In fact, Power might be proving it dividends here as he finds 2 CTs lacking already. Simers does find 1 in return onto Tyler, who we were just talking about there. And Dan W is running around with that AWP. I don't know what to think currently right now. It's been great hero plays coming out from Team Surprise, in my opinion.
Indeed, Simez needs to make the play here to deny the plant. Dan W going to find Elusive, so that's the bomb down, but Simez still on site, causing a nuisance. J-Shop going to be able to take him out, but they need to be able to cross here, and that smoke is going to do it nicely. So now we're seeing again a 2 versus 2 retake, but it's 2 AWPs. You don't want to be in a situation like this where you've got 2 AWPs and you're retaking it, because A, they're difficult guns to push in and retake a site with, and B, if you don't win it, you're throwing away so much money. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a save call come here, but actually Sammy coming out on top with 1, but as Power comes in, finds himself 1, make that 2, takes out Dan W, and Surprise put themselves onto the 10th round. The signals, that was such a mess. That retake right at the end was a mess. Earlier on in the round, I saw a very, very questionable play from Solrak that gave up that connector as well. He seemed to open the door, exposing his teammate and also putting himself in a huge disadvantage if anyone does peek the ladder area, and then closed it again. But his teammate had full short control, so there was no need to open the door there. It's just horrible communication errors, leading to them effectively just losing that round. And right now, we're seeing them just completely giving up the B site. They're playing it from really deep, but they didn't have the boost early on. They've just given it up. They've just given Surprise the site for free on a buy round.
Maybe a massive lack of communication on the part of the CTs, if not just going back to a lack of understanding of the map, possibly. But we're seeing just a mixed match of CTs and Ts intermingled around the site now. Somehow the signals have gotten themselves back onto the site, and we see Power again on his own. He's 1v2s, 1v3s, 1v4s. Obviously the timing not working in his favor there, but we're seeing time and again Power not only winning these clutches and these rounds for his team, as well as obviously Tyler in the later timed out rounds, but Power as a solo player, not only there surviving and finding another frag. Power is doing absolute work for his team right now, and he's not given the raw signals an inch, other than that round where they've just picked it up, but they're not taking it away cleanly.
Should be able to find this early one onto Sammy. That's going to be exactly it. Sammy contesting connector by himself. NW push right up along as well. Might be able to find himself something, but Solrak is getting charged with these pistols. And he's not connecting his shots. It's making it really difficult. It's interesting to see Surprise, though. Despite how many rounds they've won in a row, they actually can't buy into this one just off the back of losing the last. But these Tech 9s doing the work nonetheless. Elusive opening up the site. Simez finding 1 back, but the man advantage for the T side. They've retrieved themselves some guns. They've got themselves some good post plants. That grenade going to do a bit of damage. Dan W, though. Oh, no. He spent so long on that kill. They might be able to take this retake, though, and they're going to be able to do exactly that. It's actually a very nice retake from the Signals side, much quicker this time. But Surprise have done well. being on those pistols to get that bomb plant. They'll have plenty of money to buy into the next. And, I mean, they'll be looking to take this 11-4. And if they can, that's a massive half.
That is a big pickup, and hopefully it will enable them to hopefully maybe bring a comeback in the way of the Signals on their CT half. But obviously, we're seeing just a massive showing from the Surprise's single-star players in a sense. We're seeing a lot of individual plays working out in their favor. The only thing I can see counteracting that in the next half will be these team plays coming out from the Signals as they pick out which site they want to take, you know, how they want to push it. And whether Surprise is gonna be at a disadvantage with the, you know, the lack of team coordination that they won't have, as they haven't played that much with each other. But we're seeing now Power does find a frag, and it leaves Woody alone, but he's guessed the right site here. This could be very dangerous now for the T's, but that flash working in the T's favor. A180 helping Power to find that frag, and it's going to be an 11-4 scoreline for this half. Surprise looking very strong.
Indeed they are. I think what you're saying about Surprise not being as strong on their CT side, it's something I said before, and I think it's something that definitely comes into play had this half been closer. But with Surprise dominating so heavily on this T side, they've got so many rounds to play with, yeah? And I don't want to completely count out a comeback, because we saw a very similar situation last game, but on the flip side, and Surprise did manage to bring it right back. They weren't able to close out the game, of course, but made it super close. So there's definitely potential for them to just completely crumble here on their CT side. But with so many rounds to play with, I think they should be able to close this out. Overpass does seem to be their turf. A180 playing the info play. It's these two players mid. He's falling right back. He knows the bomb's not there though, but the rotation's still going to be called. These two T players doing a lot of work just to play the distraction, and Sorak's actually going to find himself the kill. So that's going to be the man advantage. That's going to initiate the players to push over towards B. Power going to get the kills though. And wow, these B players completely shutting this one down. Surprise have actually played this perfectly.
Well, they have. Dan W, the only one to really rebuttal this right now. He's in a 1v3. Bomb is down, but not counting, and it's going to be Power to pick up the frag onto Dan W, 12th round, and that does put Surprise in a very advantageous situation going into these next couple of rounds. Are we calling a Surprise whitewash, or are we going to see Signals do what the Surprise team did last game, bring it all the way back up to 14 rounds, and Surprise taking it away on the 16th? We're going to see deja vu.
I'd like to see the Signals pull it back, but from what we've seen so far, I think it's very unlikely. Surprise going to be Power and Elusive pushing right up. Power find himself too early, and Elusive, he's got himself a nice little spot on the fountain, and Dan W and his teammate find themselves in the connector. Might be able to find one here onto A180, but quickly traded. And Simez, last alive, unable to find anything else. J-Shop cleans up, finds himself two. That's going to give him a $1,200 bonus as well. I think they're going to go for a bonus round here, you know. I think they're pretty confident right now. Surprise, they've got plenty of rounds to play with, and if they can make this bonus round work, then definitely makes sense. An AWP being dropped to A180 though, J-Shop. That's actually big. 3 rounds into the half. Just for that SMG money, he's able to drop an AWP to his teammate, and I don't think the Signals will be expecting this one. But yeah, it's kind of do or die time for them. They need to win this buy round if they want to be pulling this back, because if Surprise take this one, I think they'll be able to just steamroll here and Power. Looking to open things up, unable to connect the shot, and he does the smart thing, falls right back.
It's good to see that these players now, they're starting to take advantage of the experience that they're gaining from playing against all these teams, and, you know, the time that they are putting into CSGO. At the start of this season, you'd see players charging in. They wouldn't have any kind of respect for their own lives and how dangerous they can be staying alive on the map instead of going for those picks and, you know, finding themselves getting caught out alone. So seeing Power do that and the likes of other players doing that as well, it's starting to show a level of CS that we're starting to see slowly being brought into the Lions League and and these teams and the individual players themselves, which means we're going to have a lot more of a better time casting these games as well as watching them, because the level of CS is just going to keep climbing and climbing and climbing, which I'm excited to see. Very excited to see.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They are going for the save now, though. J-Shop's going to find himself an AK as well. So, if they can keep these weapons and bring them into the next round, it will be a big one, actually. It'll be a really big one, because their teammates will be able to buy around it. They're all sitting comfortably on about 2.5k right now. So, can they bring this AWP and AK? In fact, it's actually the perfect two people to be saving as well, because they're the two with no money. So the other three players will be able to buy next round. As long as these two can keep their guns, they will have a very nice full buy on their hands, and I don't think the Signals will really be expecting that. So the Signals do pull one back, but they need to string this next one together as well. Normally when you win a buy round like that, especially early on, you're able to then, you go into this next round, your teammates are on pistols, you're able to put a second together. But no, Surprise aren't opting to buy into this one. Oh God! What? They could have.
Cool.
They could have. This could have been their round. You said they're just half buying into it, and the hero, the AK and the AWP, gonna have to make a hero play.
Why do you think they haven't bought into this round? Because obviously, both of us agree that that would have been the better play. Maybe they're seeing something that we aren't at the moment. If not, it's going to be a call coming in from their temporary in-game leader, and already it's not paying off as we see two CTs down very early.
Yeah, it's just down to the pistols. The limited firepower not working out for them. Would have been much better if they had a rifle, but the safe call will allow them to buy into the next, so they are playing the long game, but they don't really need to be. I think maybe they're just trying to prevent what happened to their opposition on the first map, where they were allowed to pull it right back just due to, I suppose, forcing into every round, but that wasn't really the issue. Not too sure. DDI, though, he's just down to a pistol, so he is just going to charge in, see if he can find something. Does get denied it, though. And J-Shop and A180 in a very similar position to where they were last round. Just going to be saving again. The Signals are going to allow it, though. And to be honest, even if they fall here, even though they won't be able to buy an AWP into the next round, they would actually be able to buy into the next. So, save not as important as it would have been last round had they have bought into this one. But that AWP could play a big impact in the next, especially on a map like Overpass. I think they will be able to get away with it.
Oh, we're seeing them get away with it with one round, but will they continue that run of form? Currently looking at a 13-6 scoreline, so I think this is the best time to get Chad involved. Who do you think is going to take this one away, Chad? Is it going to be Team Surprise ending this one out early, and which means we're going to be going to our third map? Or do you think it's going to be the Raw Signals taking this in a 2-0, getting the comeback of the dream, a massive comeback, and finishing this one off early first here at the line? By the looks of things, it's all tied up in this round so far.
An early engagement gets them the info, gets them the bomb down, but they're unable to contest it as it comes into a 3-on-3. Just looking money-wise, though, this is a bit of a mess from the Surprise side. I don't know why J-Shop's down to an MP9. And if he is down to an MP9, I don't know why he's not dropped his teammate. There's such a lack of utility on that CT side. And it means that the Signals can just charge right in and take the B site, no problem at all. It's all on A180 with an AWP here, 1 versus 3. I don't really think he wants to save again, but is it the smart play to walk through the smoke? Probably not, as he's going to get sprayed down by Solrak. The barrel of that AWP is so long that it's going to poke out before you do. And the Signals take that round. I mean, they shouldn't have been able to take that. Surprise, if you actually look at the buy that they pulled out, they had the money to all have M4s and all have utility. And there were several players that had rifles, but they just didn't buy utility, despite the fact that they could afford it. Elusive had a rifle, but didn't have the money for the utility, and J-Shop had an MP9 and loads of extra money. So had he have bought an M4, dropped it to his teammate, he could have bought loads of utility, and then he just buys his MP9 no utility if he's going to play close or something. It's just odd. There's no communication and there's no support there for your teammates where we say, I buy you this, you buy me that, and then we can actually have a full buy where we all have utility and the round works. Instead, you kind of nod your head and say, oh, it's good enough, we've all got guns. when actually, especially holding up a site like B, you can't do it without those Molotovs. You have to have the Molotovs and the smokes to slow down the push and allow for the rotation. It's going to cost them completely, and I mean, they're just going to get completely shut down on this eco round as well, and this is starting to fall apart for them. From what I thought was the surprises game, where they were just dominating, they were looking on top, they weren't really making too many mistakes, now it seems like quite the opposite. And definitely an opportunity for the Signals to pull this one right back. And we might see what we saw last game. Seems like Signals are just able to sort of keep their composure under pressure, I suppose. Under the pressure
might
of...
start seeing them start to steamroll the Signals here. They've got a bit more momentum under their belts. And obviously we do see that in these friendly games that we have on the Lions League, where these put together teams, they are very, very, very skilled. But when it comes to keeping their composure, maybe even the tilt factor, the teams that have been put together, the ones that are in the actual series itself, seem to have a bit more composure in the later rounds. And I feel like we might be seeing that starting to come to the forefront here in this map, in this game, because the Royal Signals are starting to turn this around now. That look that we saw at the start of the game on their CT side is starting to dissipate just a little bit. And we're starting to see a bit more of an even game, which I like to see. It's more exciting to cast, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's something that I always had a problem with as a player. You seem to get this force that comes over you as soon as you put yourself in a position where you're up by 5-6 rounds, you've got an opportunity where you can string a couple together and close it out. Things just start going wrong. You seem to start losing your gunfights. They start pulling it back. You lose that momentum. You start losing morale. And it can all fall apart oh so quickly. That appears to be what is happening for the surprise side. If they can win this round, they have an opportunity to turn it around. But Power doesn't seem to realize that Sammy's to his left. So even if he finds this kill, a player's going to swing and peek him. But he loses the duel to Simers. Sammy finds himself a nice headshot onto the site as well, onto Elusive. That's going to open things up, and it's all on J-Shop here, on Truck to try and deny this one. Sammy's going to take him out, and now it's all on TDI and A180. A180 charging him with this AWP, wants to try and deny this plant, but actually definitely not the right play. Really should have waited for his teammate there, as he's going to fall. And TDI in a 1 versus 3, takes 1. Make that 2, this is definitely doable for him. But he has no idea where the last is.
Tyler, such a wild card sometimes. Sometimes he can come out with amazing clutches like that for his team. And other times you can see him do some of the craziest mistakes. But today we're seeing the Tyler that we all want to see. The all-star, the guy that I have seen play many times previous to the Lions League. And it's very good to see him come out and do this when he gets the opportunity to do it. Obviously, Tyler, not a member of the main rosters in the Lions League. He currently plays for the Royal Engineers B team, along with some other great names. Twisty Elusive, another great name that we mention a lot here. Only getting 1 though. Dan W finding the headshot, taking him down, and finishing him off very, very quickly. Yes, Tyler, great round from him. 14-8. Signals really need to keep that level of composure up and get those rounds in.
Yeah, it's not going to help with Dan W being down to 12 HP though, and they're slowly starting to take this map control, but it's been encroaching a minute on the clock. I'm not sure if they've taken enough. They need to take care of A180 on this site. Power's in a really dangerous position as well. Should be able to take out Dan W here, no problem at all. Gives them that man advantage, and A180 still contesting it as well. This might cost him his life. He's starting to fall right back, but he's continuing to re-peak. He's on top of the dumpster. Surely he falls here. He's gonna. I mean, that's dangerous to continue to repeat like that. Call the rotation, wait for your teammates to come in. Powers ducked down, he pounced at the right moment. I feel like he could have saved his teammate earlier on, had he peeked earlier. This is only good for 1, and it's all on TDI in a 1 versus 2. I think this has been played pretty poorly from the surprise side. I don't think he's going to be able to clutch this one out. It's really, really difficult. He's down to 20 HP. And there we go, gets taken out by Solrak. The Signals have played it well, but surprise, that's messy. A180 just unable to accept the fact that he's missed his AWP shot. Yeah, you miss your AWP shot, you don't repeat. And if you do choose to repeat, which is generally a questionable play, after you miss that shot, you certainly don't re-peek again. It seemed like he just couldn't. He just kept fighting it and kept fighting it and kept fighting it until he inevitably died. And his teammate somewhat baiting him as well. Power, don't want to criticise him too much because he's had an insane performance this game with 31 kills, but I feel like he could have done some more in that last round to help his teammate out. Those nades doing a huge amount of damage though, so despite the fact that the CTs are on an eco right now, they've found themselves 2 kills, got Sammy down really low. They're actually in a decent position to win this round. The Signals, they don't want to let that happen. Power gets taken down, it's all on J-Shop. Unable to find anything, and well, the Signals put themselves in double digits. 4-round gap right now. And this is looking a whole lot closer.
Almost deja vu from our first map. Obviously, flip turn upside down. Signals were the ones that had the map advantage and almost let it slip. They did take it away. Will we see Surprise do the same, or are the Signals going to win this one out? Momentum looking good for them, but Power, the roadblock. He's already putting a dampener on the Raw Signals spirit. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see the Surprise team hit that all-important game point. 15 points on the board. Let's see what they can do as the round is slowing down now after that first initial kill.
Yeah, A180 finding Solrak as well. It's making it a whole lot harder for the Signals as they opted to go for a default where they spread around the map. I understand that. That makes sense. That's definitely a good play to do. But you need to make sure that you're supporting each other. You need to make sure that you don't just allow yourself to peek angles one by one and then just get taken down. And when you're losing your gunfights like that as well, especially to, who was it, A180? Oh, was it? No, it was Power. Power getting that initial early one as well. Makes it really, really difficult. And the boost on top of map. Power finding himself one more. This is almost impossible for Signals right now. I think we'll be seeing Surprise get themselves onto match point as Power finds his third of the round. Make that 4. Power's not missing a shot today. As he puts himself on 35 kills. He is absolutely on fire. And quite frankly, I think the reason that Surprise are where they are in this map.
Yeah, it's been quite the back and forth near the latter part of this this map here. But if we do see Surprise take this one through, oh no, they've got a read onto Power here. If they do take this one through, this third map is going to be very interesting. I think, like I said earlier, Signals might end up seeing it through. Though it isn't over yet. There's still 3 T's knocking about. Make that 2. It's going to be a 4v2. Possibly finish this one off. How is that a miss there from Sammy? Does find the frag eventually. Comes back into a 2v2. Simus finds J-Shot, but he gets taken down by Elusive. 1v2 for the map. Sammy with it all to play for. And 2 very hungry CTs are going to be hounding him down now. He's going to back away. He has the bomb. He has a lot of opportunities, and the time is on his side. Making a fake play on a rotate doesn't really do much, as no sound cues are going to go towards the CTs. Their one is rotating off, so it puts him in a 1v1. AWP versus AK. Who's going to be? The AWP fires too early there, and now Sammy is on the site, but the other CT is going to be rotating in. The time not really helping him here, as we have a Mexican standoff. It's going to be Sammy finds Power. The flick onto short would have been beautiful to see, but it doesn't quite pan out for Sammy. Sammy doesn't quite realize he's on his own, and he's Molotov the wrong section. All it takes now is Elusive to peek at the right time. He does do it, and that is game point down. And we're going to map 3. Josh, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I thought that the Signals actually could have had that round there. Sammy was in a really good situation. He seemed to have the read that initially Elusive was going to come from short as well. And then all of a sudden he started to question himself. I don't know whether that was teammates bombarding him with information or whether that was actually just him questioning, oh, he could come from CT, he could come from here, he could come from there. But the fact that he's read the short play and he's Molotov short, if he's Molotov short, then the short play is going to be coming from Monster, yeah? So, as I said before in a previous round on Dust 2, if you've got enough confidence in the player coming from short that you're Molotoving short, then you should definitely be wary of Monster. So, questionable plant really exposed himself right for Monster. And yeah, just unfortunate. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to be said. Surprise were just on top of that game. The Signals, they pulled it out in the second half. They strung some rounds together. And much like the last game, had the game been longer, had we been playing a full 30 rounds, maybe we would have seen a different result. But when you give away 11 rounds on the first half, yeah, even if you pull it back in the second, you just haven't left yourself with enough rounds to play with. It makes it super difficult to bring it back. And, well, a pure showcase of it right there. So we will be going on to map number 3. It will be Nuke. And I mean, this is anyone's game right now. I actually don't know. I have absolutely no idea who could take this one. I think that Signals have the potential to, especially as a team. We've seen them on Nuke previously, whereas obviously we haven't seen the surprise roster on any map. So I have no idea how they're going to do on Nuke. But from what we saw on Overpass, which is a pretty team-heavy map, going on to Nuke, I have no idea.
Well, we're going to have to find out. Obviously, here at the casting desk, we are just as curious as you are in the chat to find out who is going to take this final map. But just before that, we're going to go to a very quick break. So go get yourself some more snacks, take a quick toilet break. We'll be back with you momentarily for map 3. See you in a second.
There's a notebook on the table, you can take it to the store, so you won't forget the groceries anymore. There's a rifle in the cabinet that I used to fight a war, but to this day I don't know what I was fighting for. I'm fighting for. Show me love as we get older, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of it on me. Show me love as we grow colder, let our love provide the heat, let our older bones are missing, but our hearts will never leave. There's a blanket on the sofa that I used to keep you warm. When I find you fast asleep at 4:30. There's a record we keep turning to bring minds and solve our youth, but there's still nothing as beautiful as you. Will you show me love as we get older, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of it on me. Show me love as we grow colder, let our love provide the heat, that our older bones are missing, but our hearts will never leave. As we grow colder, love provide the heat, older bones are missing, hearts will never leave. Because your hand belongs in my hand, belongs in your hand, belongs with me. Show me love as we get older, and
falling, top to toe falling. In love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling, top to toe falling. In love, but my heart's not there. I live alone on my own, won't you save me? I've got hope, but I need more than that. You can help me, bring me down to earth. And I feel it in my heart, feel it in my soul. We've both got problems, don't you know? Now get them off your chest, put your mind to rest. And she said, I'm falling, top to toe falling. In love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling, top to toe falling. In love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling, top to toe falling. In love, but my heart's not there. I'm falling, top to toe falling. In love, but my heart's not there. I walk alone on my own, won't you leave me? There's a road, but I need more than that. If you help me, no one will get hurt. And I feel it in my heart, feel it in my soul. You and I have problems, don't you know? Now get them off your chest, lay your mind to rest, your mind to rest. From my top to my toe, right from the word go, I was falling, I was falling. Before you even know, the cracks start to show. I was falling, I was falling.
I was, and I said, she crawled in my bed, said she did it just because. She must be the one I'm waiting on. I have a vibe all inside of my head. Drove from the flesh to the bones I dread. And even when the darkness knows your stride, life's divide, let me burn to ground. I have a vibe all inside of my head. Drove from the flesh to the bones I dread. And even when the darkness knows your stride, life's divide, let me burn to ground. A vibe all inside of my head. Drove from the flesh to the bones I dread. And even when the darkness knows your stride, life's divide, let me burn to ground. I have a vibe all inside of my head. Drove from the flesh to the bones I dread. And even when the darkness knows your stride, life's divide, let me burn to ground.
I don't know how it feels, 'cause I don't live in your part of the world. I know it's not ideal, oh, but nothing is forever, my girl. See, I'm a dreamer. Oh, for love, it is somewhere the much as you know it. Delivered, signed and sealed. I will get that girl, albeit slow. And I'm a dreamer. Yeah, for love it is all in the name. I'm a believer. You may be far away, but we're thinking the same. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I'll be waiting for you. 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 Won't live like take all night. We're only one flight away from each other. I'm coming for you one time. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I close my eyes and I picture us together. I hope you know that I'll be waiting for you, my love, on this New York City coast. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you.
There's a notebook on the table, you can take it to the store, so you won't forget the groceries anymore. There's a rifle in the cabinet that I used to fight a war, but to this day I don't know what I was fighting for. I'm fighting for. Show me love, sweet it over, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of it on me. Show me love, a sweet one colder, that our love provide the heat, that I order bones and miss, but our hearts will never leave. belongs in my hand, belongs in your hand, belongs with me. Show me love as we get older, and I'm falling at your feet. After 30 years of service and months of Vietnamese. Show me love as we grow colder, let our love provide the heat. After 30 years of service and months of Vietnamese. Show me love as we grow colder, let our love provide the heat. That our older bonds are missing, but our hearts will never leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned for our final map of the evening, which will be on Nuke. It is the Royal Signals versus Team Surprise, and we have a slight roster change-up as A180 has jumped out of the game and he's being replaced by Fitz. Do you think that's going to change up the atmosphere of the game as we go into our final map, Josh?
It depends if Fitz is a talent or not. I mean, A180, he's been a detrimental part of their successes. He's been really, really, really strong. So him being out of the picture now, it's going to be, it's definitely going to be a loss for the side. But it all depends. If this player comes in, if he's warmed up, then yeah, he could turn up, he could make an impact. But the same can be said for if he isn't, then it could really, really be problematic. A180, obviously, he knows how his opponents play. He's been in the last two maps. He's going to be warmed up. He's going to be crispy. So it's going to be difficult. But it's like anything with a football match. Bringing on a fresh pair of legs in the second half. Do you know what I mean? Someone that's keen. Someone that, especially in a best of three, when you go on to the third map, like it's tiredness. I mean, it's 9:45 right now. Like it comes into play. It definitely comes into play. So I don't know if it's going to have an impact. It is the answer, to be honest. It could, or it might not.
Well, we're going to have to find out. Hopefully the players are ready. We're just going to see what they're saying. Obviously, we've made our predictions prior to this game. I do believe, especially now with the roster change up as well, A180 was really doing a lot of work for his team. I've not heard anything about this fifth player that they've replaced him with. So I am going to go back to saying that the Signals will probably take this final map. Like I said at the start, if it went to the three maps, Signals would take the final one. Josh, how about yourself?
I think Signals should take this map. I think. But I mean, from what we saw from Surprise on Overpass, they were just on top. So let's see how they come into Nuke right now. The CT side of the Signals looking really hot though as Sammy comes in with 4 early kills. They are crispy one-taps, but from what we're seeing from Fitz, this guy's a monster. Returns it with 3, brings it onto a 2-on-1, and he's got the bomb. This is doable.
This could be a very strong showing from him early on. Wow, okay, Fitz. Knew exactly where he was. It's a 1v1 situation now. What a change of events here that one player can bring. And already Fitz is making his mark. He's put the bomb down and he's heard the vent get broken. Simers is going up against Fitz.
By the
Quick
way he's playing
taps.
right now, you can tell he's a good player. Look at how he's played this. He's walked through the smoke. Somers doesn't have a clue. Tapping away. Unable to connect the kill as of yet. And actually, Somers is going to come out on top. That's a big clutch for him to make. But Fitz, a very, very valiant attempt. I can't believe he's nearly pulled off a 1v5.
Absolutely. What a play from Fitz. Let's not negate the fact that he pulled that back for Team Surprise, even though the Signal's managing to keep their head above water. They get the first round on the board, which is very important on the CT side. And now they're going to get a nice buy-in. Whereas Fitz now leading the charge on a T-buy. And some SMGs in hands for the rest of the team also.
With that bomb going down and Fitz getting so many kills, can pull himself an AK into this round. Teammates with those Mac 10s. They do get the early entry, but they take a lot of damage early on, and by the fact they've gone for that vent dive means that the CTs have got plenty of time to rotate, and they are just shutting this one down, not allowing the Ts to get the bomb plant. Sammy having a huge impact on this game already. Massive play on the pistol round, and he seems to be doing the same in the gun rounds, but Power takes him out. That's going to be the M4 out of play, and it's going in the hands of Power. Might be able to do some work with it, but as he's unable to connect the shots, does get tagged down to 6 HP, and it's him and TDI to try and make something work here. Bomb unable to go down. He gets taken out by Woody. This is all over for Surprise. The Signals put the second round on the board. Feels like both rounds have been pretty messy. Surprise have been doing a lot of damage, but either way, it's still going in the hands of the Signals. They should be able to put a third down now as well, as Surprise are down to a full eco. So the Signals coming out on top, but I'm interested to see what more we see from Fitz, because that was a crazy play on pistol round. You can tell that he's definitely one to be looking out for in this game. Might lead to a Surprise success as they trying to work something out towards mid.
Very strong showing from him. I suppose he wanted to really pop off to the stuff there. Let everyone know that Fitz is here to play. But so is Simons as well. Dan W finding one, Woody finding another. Fitz does fall. Lucid goes down as well. Simons finding Power. It's a complete outside shutdown, leaving Tyler on his own with a block. But will he do anything with it? No, he will not. Simons picks up 3 that round. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken just in the slightest, but I have a very small inkling that Fitz is a part of the same team that Elusive plays for as well. I'm not mistaken.
Elusive's another player that we haven't seen, though.
True. Elusive is only playing our friendlies. His team, the team he's part of, is not part of the Lions League at the moment, but I would love to see them shake up the atmosphere and really get the other teams worked up. Because obviously they've all played each other now. They all know how each other's plays. It'd be great to see another team in there, an Apex Predator team to really give them a run for their money. Speaking of runs for their money, Dan W spraying down Fitz. Solrak finding Power as well. I think Power got stuck on the secret side there as J-Shop reclaims the bomb and it puts it into a 3v5 as the round slows down.
It's unfortunate when the map geometry gets in the way and you got those little sticky out bits that arguably shouldn't really be there. TDI falls and Elusive and J-Shop, well, they've got the bomb, but they've got a hell of a lot of work on their hands if they want to pull anything into this round right now. Sammy getting a little bit aggressive, realizes that actually if he falls here, they could get straight onto the B site. So gonna reel it in. Repeats takes out Elusive though. There we go. Oh, I thought that was a smoke. It's actually a flash, but it is going to allow the time for his teammate to rotate. He's going to fall back. Plays that situation pretty well, actually. I quite like that. Leaves J-Shop in a 1v5, and there's not really anything he can do here. 30 seconds on the clock. And yeah, I think he's going to try and get himself an A-plant, but yeah, with Solrak on top, absolutely no chance of that.
Nope, not a chance in hell. The only thing he could have really done there was maybe take down a very wounded Sammy S. But we now go into our 5th round, and we're seeing deja vu yet again. One team leading the charge and the other team having to crawl it back very slowly, or at least that's my prediction for this game so far. We're going to see an AWP in the hand of Simers. In fact, this might be the first time I've seen him running it around. Usually in the hands the likes of Dan W. We've even seen Woody pick it up once or twice in his last couple of games. Will he show up with it? Seems like TDI, though, with the scout. Picking up, there we go. Simers finds Elusive. He obviously knows how to use the big green gun. Let's see how effective he is with it.
We find ourselves in a 4 versus 4. The signal's still on top right now, though, and T-side, they're unable to retrieve the gun that they dropped. Woody playing this well, drops off the box, but as he gets taken out by the Deagle of Fitz, the man advantage swaying as it goes over towards the T. Solright's got himself a nice position, should be able to find one, no power! The aim on that kid is absolutely insane. Gives his team the 2-man advantage. They will be able to get the bomb down as well, and Dan W and Simez, well, they're lost right now. There's so many angles for them to be worried about, and J-Shop finds him. And yeah, Simez, he's just got to save her.
As you see the way Dan W... power completely disintegrated on that AWP shot from Simers. But I want to go back. Dan W decided to get brave with it. Jumps down the ladder. Sprays, but doesn't quite find the kill. But it just goes to show the signals are looking very confident. I think they might be getting a bit too overconfident, as it's led to a first round on the board for surprise. And we've seen a bit of a trend with these teams that once they start getting those rounds on the board, both of them steamroll for quite a while. It takes a lot to put a dampener on that momentum. In fact, just as we get into this, we might see an early frag pickup from Simers. And Sammy, actually, have you noticed he's got the shotgun here? I don't know exactly where he's playing with it, but interesting buy from him.
I've seen some players recently. It's not where Sammy's playing this round, but I've seen players playing a hut with that auto shotgun, like in like sort of tier 2, tier 3 Counter-Strike recently. It's definitely one to be brought out on Nuke, but it's not where Sammy's playing this round. Simer's doing a huge amount of work outside though. Finds TDI as well, so that's 2 for him. Dan W taking out Elusive, so this round quickly falling apart for the T side, and it all stemmed off Fitz going down very, very early. J-Shop trying to work something over towards ramp, but as there's 2 players, it's going to be Woody and Sammy with that auto shotgun. Woody finds the headshot, and Power in a 1v5. He's got the AWP, really wants to be saving it, but with a minute left on the clock, I think he's actually going to try and... yeah, he is. He's going for this. He's going for a peek. He's going to try and find Simez, but he's put himself in a really horrible situation. He's given away the info as well. Surely he gets taken out here.
He might just get caught. Yeah, he's going to pick the wrong angle. Solrock's been waiting for him. I've noticed something very interesting about Power. I don't know whether it's on your line of sight as well, but he doesn't currently have a gun model, and it's kind of hard to see what weapon he's using until I check his stat sheet at the bottom left and the bottom right. So currently in my eyes right now, it looks like he's telekinetically shooting his enemies with an invisible gun.
No, bro, the bullets come out of his eyes. He shoots people out of his eyes. His laser eyes. Look how aggressive Simons is though with this AWP. Oh, he gets the collateral. So much damage being done, and he's still fighting as well. I'd have fallen back here. This is questionable, but he's still landing the frags. There's Dan W coming in to support as well. That's a big mid shutdown. And he's still hungry for more. Oh my goodness, Simez. Just call it quits. Fall back, friend.
Absolutely, Simons. What are you doing? Doesn't pan out for him, though. He does get shut down by the big boy J-Shop. Dan W, though, finding himself to match. Goes into a bit of a timeout. Could be a tech issue. Could be just a...
I think Power's disconnected. You can see it on the surprise side. He's just come back in. So I think we should be unpausing momentarily.
Very quick reset. Isn't going to give the teams much time to converse. How do you feel about Simons playing aggressively like that with the AWP? Obviously, we haven't seen him use it all that much, but this map, he is dominant outside with it.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like it. It's a change of pace. It allowed him to get that first kill. It's a little bit greedy to go for the second pick, but it worked out for him. But then as soon as he's got Dan W, who's come in, Dan W supported him, he's got that third kill as well, he needs to just fall right back there, yeah? He's then in a position where if he doesn't fall back once Dan W comes into support, then he's just like a ticking time bomb, yeah? He's in a position where he can't rotate, he has to land every single shot to stay alive, and continuing to re-peak, you just become predictable for the T's. So in that scenario, he's done massive work to get the kills that he got, but he could have got away and he could have repositioned, found himself a new angle, maybe got himself another kill there, or even just saved himself the AWP, yeah? Instead, he's had to rebuy one. It's not too much of a problem because they've got the money to do so, but yeah, quite questionable for him to just continue to re-peak. Either way, though, massive round from him. He's sitting 11-2 right now. Massive impact so far this game. He's got outside on absolute lockdown, and if he can continue that, then I think this should just be a whitewash signals half, because the outside control is such a pivotal one to take as a T. Simon's not quite getting the timing right, but a well-placed Molotov is going to slow down Surprise there, deny them taking that mid control. And it's going to mean it's going to allow that smoke to dissipate as well. And actually TDI, did he burn in that Molotov all the way down to 20?
I think he did. Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate. Maybe not quite understanding what was going on there. As we just continue on to the match here. TDI very, very low. Not too much to do at the moment. Not too much to talk about. Woody finding one, Sammy finds the second. Oh, it's a complete bloodbath right now as the Signal clean house power, though. He's still hungry for more. He finds Dan W. He's in the vents with that sound cue. They're sure to know where he is. Woody, he's got the angle, doesn't check it. Oh! Oh, Woody! You should have checked it. Should have checked it.
You hear the click of chat there as well. I love that. We can't see the chat because of the custom HUD, but you can hear the little clicks. You know he's just typed something to him. Absolutely. It's a ballsy play for Power to go for the knife, but I mean, an impossible situation. 10 seconds on the clock. We'll be looking to just save this AK, I think. Bring it into the next round. Might be able to drop it to a teammate because his teammates haven't got a whole lot of money, so they won't be able to buy into this one. But J-Shop's got money to buy. If he can drop this AK to someone, he can rebuy. No, actually, no, he can't. He can't rebuy. He has to keep it. He didn't get any money for that round because he stayed alive. So, yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. I think they're just going to buy a couple of pistols around that AK and Eco. So this should be another round for the Signals. And as they're ever so widening this gap, this is looking quite dire for Surprise, actually.
That it is. They just don't seem to be working all that well together either, so we've got a very mixed buy coming in from them. This outside push has been shut down every round by that AWP outside Simers. So pivotal right now, but right now he's only found one, and the T's have managed to get down into that B bomb site. Fitz exploding onto the site. Does he? He does find Woody. What a great shot from him. Headshot straight to his cranium. As the bomb goes down, it's going to be a 4 versus 4. Maybe then a 4 versus 3. Dan W spamming through the door. Refrag from J-Shot. Going to be back to a 3v3. Dan W single-handedly opening up the site now, and the T's, they're looking a bit skittish. They don't have the site advantage onto the bomb. They do find Dan W as a charging T takes him down. Elusive grabbing him. He's still alive. He's still up for more. He's a 1v2, but the C-Teams have his number. They know he's coming through door. And Sammy S to defuse the bomb comfortably for an 8th round. Signals 8-1. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the long rotation means that he has to step, gives away his position, and they will just be able to shut him down as soon as he opens that door. I was quite impressed there from Surprise, though, because they're on an eco. They've managed to get the bomb down. And what I really like to see is that they didn't have enough smokes to go for that wall of smokes. Now, realistically, if they're going for the secret control, if it's been called, they should buy enough smokes. But they've actually adapted to it quite well, because rather than going for the wall, which you need 3 smokes for, they've put one up to cross to red box. They've then smoked garage to eliminate the AWPer, and then flashed A main to get rid of the guy there, which allows them to cross. Simez's red fit's pushing up really well, though, actually. We didn't quite get to see what happened before that, so maybe he did see him up close. Maybe he just fell back and predicted that Fitz was going to be close. Either way, though, brings it back into a 4-on-4. Solrak's in a fantastic position, finds himself 2. That's Elusive and Power out of the equation. And now it's just on TDI and J-Shop. 4 versus 2. And, yeah, I mean, this is going to be difficult. They've got the bomb. They've still got to find themselves onto a bomb site. Finding Solrak's going to be a good start. Oh, no, J-Shop! Oh, God.
Wow, that
panicked.
was hard to watch. I think he did. Seeing TDI so close, possibly after that 9 kill earlier we saw. Maybe, just maybe. Wow, mind games coming in from the signals. And I'm sorry about laughing, but that was very, very humorous to see.
Maybe his teammate said something like bad about him. Maybe he said like, "Yo, bro, you suck at Counter-Strike," and he was like, "No, you suck," and then like headshot him. Because that seemed like a weird place to get startled. Like sometimes you see a player where like the player will flick and they'll hit, they'll accidentally shoot their teammate or something. But that was a weird one. It seems to just 180 and just headshot his teammate. Either way though, Power opening things up. Fit forwards though. Power still doing a lot of work. How is he all the way up there?
Sneaking around like a ninja, getting into the positions, but Solrak, the ninja hunter, catching these T's off guard. TDI doesn't realize he has a CT breathing down his back, the back of his neck here. But yeah, Tyler, tendency to yell some very funny things down the chat, and I'm sure he's probably said 1 or 2 things to his teammates, so maybe a bit of vengeance coming the way there from J-Shot. You see Sammy creeping up the ladder. I think Power has his read here. There we go. He goes down. And it's going to be Woody with it all to play for to keep this round alive. 1 versus 2, and TDI, he's got it here and he knows where he is. And what? There's no way TDI did not pick that up. There's no way Power won't finish this off. He has the bomb in his sight. Woody!
Oh my.
What are you doing, Woody? Oh my gosh, Josh. How do you even predict that?
I have no idea. Woody's done fantastic there. I mean, TDI should have found that one. He was tucked into the vents. He played it quite well. Not to swing early, but Woody seemed to just predict it. And actually, rather than swinging it early on, he only peeked it as soon as he was in the line of sight. So he's read that situation very well. I understand what Power was trying to do with those AKs at the end. He was trying to throw one down to somewhat fake the drop, but all it really did was somewhat give away. In fact, it didn't give away his position. I think Woody already knew that he was there, but it just wasted time and it sort of flustered him a little bit. And Simez is just absolutely tearing through them now. Surprise. This is not good at all. J-Shop now is in a 1 versus 5. It's going to go to 11-1, and the Signals have really got a good chance of absolutely dominating this half. And, well, putting Surprise in a position where, I mean, from the way that the Signals are playing right now, the fact that they're just not losing a single round, they're not missing their shots, they're not losing their clutches, this could easily go for a 10-1 up. Look at the money on the CT side. You'd expect a much stronger economy than this, but because the rounds have come so close, that's actually going to be quite difficult to rebuy those guns that he's just dropped. Still 40 seconds on the clock, and I'm sure he's planning to wreak more havoc. Hasn't had the player above him though, and there we go. Falls to Woody. So the Signals, they respond quite well to that one. They found themselves 2 AKs, still the AWP on Simez. And yeah, I mean, they're just dominating this Surprise side right now. It's clear they're struggling. Elusive, 1 kill, Tyler's on 2. They're struggling to find these frags and win these aim duels.
That they are. An 11-1 scoreline. It's probably the largest gap we've seen today, let alone this week, in fact. Could be going back to the days of the Stomps back in the early Lions League scrim games that we used to see. But it's not over yet, and I'm sure the chat will have something to say about that. Are they here for Team Surprise, or are they big Signals fans? Now, I found something out about the Signals today. They have a huge lineup. They have almost 2 teams ready to rock and roll. So they have a lot of replacements, like the likes of Nash. We're not seeing Nash today. A180 being on another team. It's crazy to think that, obviously, the Signals can put up this many players, but there's the other teams having to, throw together other mismatch teams to come up and compete. It's very odd to see. Very odd to see.
It does make sense when you think about the part of the army that they come from. They are the techie guys. It would make sense for them to be the past gamers. J-Shop's done really well to get this bomb point, actually. But yeah, Signal's still coming out on top. 12-1 right now. This is just decimation.
That it is. We're going to see another round going the way of the Signals. Oh, Josh, what do you think? Are we going to be calling this one here? Is it going to be a Signals bully game, or are we going to see another comeback like we've seen in the last couple of games? And are they going to bring it back to a favorable match? Something that we can be excited to witness and excited to see.
Well, I'd like to see Surprise pull this one back, make this a closer game, but the way that they're playing right now, I don't think it's the fact that things aren't quite working in their favor. I think it's just very evident that they're just struggling on Nuke. They are just struggling to make anything work right now. Every single player is desperately trying to find a kill somewhere, and I think Simez actually just... Simez killed someone through the door there? Or was that outside? No, I think that was outside. Okay, not as crazy as I thought. But still, Surprise on the back foot. Again, a minute on the clock. Man disadvantage. Make that 2 as Dan W finding one more, and it seems that the Surprise guys are just getting picked off one by one. They're just falling like flies as they're trying to individually contest some map control. It's just not working out for them at all. Dan W falling back to site. Reload's going to give away his position, but it's actually going to force out J-Shop, and he should be able to get a kill here. And that he will.
J-Shop falling pretty convincingly there, but Woody has something to say about it. Only briefly as Elusive frags him down. And we have Elusive now in a 1v2 situation. Don't count him out just yet, though. Elusive, very dangerous player to have in this situation. He's caught between a rock and a hard place, though, but this hard place isn't looking the right way. As the flash comes out, Sammy rotating around. Elusive's managed to get out of the trap here. He's going to go down to B site to get the one down. Very smart from Elusive.
Yeah, timing just about working in his favor. I thought he was going to wrap around to door, and that would have been a really good play had he not thrown the flash. But then when he threw the flash, it gave away his position. I was a little bit confused. He did play it well, though. He didn't count on the timing from Simez, though. Simez just, as soon as that flashbang went off, charged himself right down the vent. Got a very quick rotation. Unable to deny the bomb plant, but denies him the post plant. So 13-1 right now, the Signals. I mean, this is crazy. Whether they take this round or not, they should just be able to close this one out. They've got far too many chances, and I think Surprise, they'll be forced into a position where if they did want to bring this back on the second half, they'd have to buy every single round. They'd have to play flawless Counter-Strike every single round. And actually, especially if the Signals take this one, they'll have to win the pistol round. It will all ride on the pistol round. But right now, they're trying to make sure that it isn't the case. They're charging right into A. They find themselves 2. But 2 go back in the favor of the Signals. It does end up in a 3 versus 3. The bomb finally goes down for the Surprise side, so they can start to find their hiding places. Exclusive power go full just like that, just so quickly. I didn't even see that happen. Now it's J-Shop in a 1v2. Make that a 1v1. It's Woody and J-Shop right now. J-Shop in his position known. Woody not going to be affected by the flash, but he's tapping away. The bomb's beeping faster and faster. J-Shop going to come out on top. It's somewhat of a lifeline for his team, but I mean, they're 11 rounds down. I really don't see what they can bring into this second half. I don't want to completely count them out because both games we have seen a pretty hefty comeback from both sides actually going into the second half. But wow, I mean this is somewhat of a CT map, but not a 13-2 CT map. I think if the Signals can take pistol round here, this will be their game.
No, I do believe this one could be all she wrote. But then again, obviously, we can't just count out surprise just yet. I'd like to mention that Simers has been playing the game of his life. Obviously, not too much, coming back at him. Surprise not having the best of games, but he's just been dominating with that AWP outside, which is nice to see because he's in a lineup with the likes of Dan W and Solrak. Like these two guys, very, very, very good. Their star player potential, as some people have already said, and he's stepping up to the mark and letting them know that he is also up there with them, and there's a reason why he's on this Raw Signals team.
Yeah, he's done a really, really good job of holding on to outside. The fact that he's only died 4 times as well, he's 20-4 right now, allows him to be the bank. I think he's dropped a couple of guns to teammates in previous rounds. Sammy's been playing really well this game as well, actually. I've seen him getting a lot of frags with that rifle over towards A. So yeah, just a really strong showing from everyone, actually, from the Signal side. But you're absolutely right to call out Simez. He's been playing out of his mind. I was expecting to see a little bit more from Fitz. After we saw that pistol round from him, not only did he nearly pull back a 1 versus 5, he gets himself 4 crispy kills, but also it was just evident from the way that he played it and he isolated those fights. He's clearly a talented player, but since that pistol round, he's only been able to find himself 4 kills. Let's see if he can bring something more to the table going into this CT side as Royal Signals charging in for this ramp control, and they should be able to get themselves onto B here if they can just find this kill onto Power. And Fitz.
They do find Fitz to start things off. That door is now completely clear. Sammy finding Power with the numbers game. He had a buddy with him as well. Elusive does fire back, but there's 2 frags in return. It leaves TDI with it all to play for. Bomb has gone down. And now he's got 4 very, very angry T's. They want to finish this one off. They want to go to bed. They want to play some more CS. On Face It, probably, as Woody puts the nail in the coffin on that round and possibly even this game. 14-2. Royal Signals, what a showing on this final map.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What time to just come out and just say, yeah, do you know what? We're not playing anymore. We're just going to finish this one off. I really liked what Elusive did there, actually. He went on a crazy suicide mission and denied the plant in that last round. He just swung right out a door. Knew that there was going to be like 4 or 5 players on the site, but just focused on that bomb planter, trying to slow things down. Did manage to get the kill, but very quickly traded. And right now, I think the Royal Signals, this is their game. I don't see Surprise being able to do anything here. The Signals showing no respect, charging right out A with the MAC-10s, 1 Galil. And yeah, just ripping through these CT defenses. I don't even think Power's going to be able to find himself anything. I don't want to count him out with this Deagle. He is a crispy player, but they know where he is. Not able to find anything. Dan W is going to take him out. Royal Signals, match point. They've got, well, 13 chances to close it out. Deny Surprise overtime. Overtime have got Surprise have got no money to buy into this one. So they are just going to be down to those SMGs and a couple of pistols. Royal Signals, this is their best chance of closing this one out. And I don't think either of us were expecting a 15-2 or 16-2 if it comes to it. I'd have been very, very impressed if any of you guys in the chat would have called this one.
We definitely did. We did predict, though, the Signals would take this 3rd map, which obviously is now showing completely 100% that a team that is prepared for a map is definitely going to have the easiest time of it. Whereas a team that has been put together right for the day, and then scrim friendly that we have today, very much struggling. Now we have it. Look, we didn't even get the chance to cast it. Already finished up strong for our Signals team today. Josh,
Funky stuff.
how do we finish that one off? It was so quick and it was so concise. Signals taken apart the Surprise team today, and what a finish! What a very strong finish. That's got to be a shout out to all the other teams in the Lions League. That the Signals are here, they're ready to play, and they are still one of the most dominant teams in this season.
Yeah, I mean, they've just showcased that they're able to beat the best of what the Lions League has to offer in terms of if you mix and match a team from some of the best players from the other rosters, face them against the Signals, and they will still get decimated. I was not expecting that third map to be as close, as dominant as it was. I was expecting it to be a lot closer, especially after, obviously, we saw the Signals win Dust 2, but it was super close, and the Signals were really prepared on Dust 2, and I was actually quite impressed with what Surprise pulled out there. Then we go on to Overpass, which I think is a really strat heavy map and a really coordination heavy map. You really need to be working with your teammates and stuff to take a map like that. And Surprise came out on top. So I thought to myself, going on to Nuke, if map 2 was Mirage, and okay, like Surprise win, they just took their Angels, they played it really puggy, they win the map, I'd say, right, do you know what? Signals, they're definitely going to take this third map. But after Surprise won second map Overpass, I really thought to myself, do you know what? Going on to Nuke, even though it requires what I would consider like a team would prevail on a map like that, Surprise kind of showed that they could play that Team CS style and they could prevail in something like that. So I was expecting it to be at least close, but no, not at all. Surprise, absolutely just crumbling to Signals, and Signals showing that, well, they were strong on Nuke. They weren't just getting lucky or anything. Like Simez was just denying them outside, and the T side of Surprise continued to try and go outside within like the first sort of 6-7 rounds. They kept trying to go outside, and Simez was denying it. And then later in the half, I don't know if you noticed, they just stopped contesting outside. They were just like, do you know what? This just isn't working. We're just going to stop going outside. They tried to go A, they tried to go down ramp. Nothing was working for them. And yeah, actually just a really solid showing from the Signals. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this best of 3 as much as me and Josh have today. If you have, then by all means come back next time for some more exciting Lions League action. We'll be back this Thursday for some more. So if you guys have what it takes to sit down, relax, and enjoy yourself during this lockdown for some CSGO action, then by all means drop that follow button, join us in the future, get on the social medias. Go and drop me and Josh a follow if you fancy catching up with our opinions on the post game. Of course, our titles are down below. But I think that's all she wrote for today. So thank you all for watching. You guys have been incredible. I've been Blitzy, and Josh, would you like to close us out, please, for tonight?
Alrighty, thank you for watching it, everybody. We've seen some awesome Lions League action. Another third mapper. I think that's like the third week in a row that we've seen it go to 3 maps. So super, super exciting. I'm hoping we'll see the same on Thursday. So make sure you do not miss it. Give us a follow, turn on notifications, and make sure you are there for some more Lions League action. For tonight, though, we're going to be off. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. Join us on Thursday.